I'm Shane.
I'm Bo.
We are your Kentucky Fried Critics.
And we're back for another one, guys.
That's right, episode 18.
18, more Christmas.
Last time I mentioned episode 16 was 4 months, but that's we're going by 4 weeks, because it was episode 16. But this would be the actual, I think I looked it up by date.
Lines
4
up
months.
with
from
when we actually started.
when episode 1 went up. All right.
Anniversaries,
That's
aren't
right.
they fun?
We're getting there, guys. We're doing this thing. Can't make it more real than this.
No, can't wait for our first year anniversary.
All right, guys. Before we get started, we'll take care of the socials.
Pause for the cause.
That's right. Facebook, again, is where we usually like to start this. That's going to be facebook.com/Kentucky Fried Critics. Real easy, real simple, no hyphens. Going from Facebook, we go to Instagram. Now that's going to be Kentucky Fried Critics. We can't change. Your handle is your handle. It's you make that. You
give
that.
me time. Me and my hyphen army will take over Instagram eventually.
No, I think that's one of those things that if you get important enough, you can just start a new one and contact someone and be like, can we just
Can I just switch this?
transfer it over to where it's like
$50.
this was always that one. After Instagram, we'll go ahead and talk about YouTube. That's the bastard child right now. It's the one that's completely different from all of the others. It's not hyphenated. It's not a straight spelling.
Sticks out like a sore green thumb.
That's right, because someone already had the one. It was before we had thought about doing any kind of hyphens. So right now that one sits at youtube.com/@KFCritics.
Grumble, bitch, complain.
Now again, as I like to point out, if you just search on YouTube for Kentucky Fried Critics,
Dude, on mine, if
You're
I just
gonna
type,
find us.
Is it just because I do it all the time? I just type in K and it pops up.
yeah, that's because
mine.
you do it all the time.
Oh, y'all need to get with me.
Because again, we are active.
Yeah,
we are using it.
We are it.
People are viewing our channel currently.
Yeah, good
So
people. Intelligent, beautiful people.
That makes a difference. Then the last one we usually like to hit for our socials is going to be the website. That's the website from our glorious hosts over at Acast. They're the ones that let us put out this podcast.
Thanks, guys.
And that is also where our hyphens come in.
Yo.
So that's going to be at shows.acast.com/Kentucky-fried-critics.
Warm tinglies. I needed it. My fix. Do I have a problem? I think I might have a problem.
We'll
Anybody
see.
else think this is weird? Tell me in the comments.
Once we make the change to the rest of them, if you're still itching for more hyphens, we might have a problem.
Yeah, then it's going to be a thing.
Again, they will. We always will have new ones coming out with the episodes because the episode titles
Makes me
get their
happy.
own hyphens.
Especially when the title's long. I'm just like, man, look at all those fucking hyphens.
One more thing that we usually like to tell you about, and this is a social, but it's not usually the kind of thing you think about when people are like, I'll give you my socials. That's going to be our email. If you just want to reach out to us.
The original social.
It is,
really,
but it's
think
not
about it.
It's not the one that most people think about when you say the word social.
You should. This is where you can give us ideas.
Yeah, that's where you send the ideas for movies. If you got a beer you think we should drink and therefore try our hardest to try to find something
that goes with it.
You let us know. We'll do our best. We'll see what we can do. So that's going to be KentuckyFriedCritics@gmail.com. No tricks. No hyphens. That one will not get. I'm not going to set up a new email
that would just
for
be
us.
a whole new thing.
Yeah. We're sticking with the
it's
one.
before my love of hyphens. I will accept it.
And then of course you can find us on most podcast platforms.
I like Spotify.
Spotify's the big one.
Yeah.
Amazon, Apple,
Google.
Again, it's still floating around.
Are we on
don't know.
iTunes?
Well, that would be Apple.
Would that be Apple?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We're covered.
Sweet.
Well, it's most of
you can
them.
find us wherever you like.
iHeartRadio. Just to rub that in.
Yeah.
Just to rub it in.
Every day, go out to the mailbox. No T-shirt.
We're waiting. We'll see.
One day it'll be a glorious, wonderful day, and I will dance merrily through the fields in my new iHeartRadio shirt, either official or fan made. I will take either.
All right, but that is definitely all of our socials, all of the places you can find us, reach us, get a hold of us, like, comment, share, subscribe.
Do it.
Do those things that you
now.
should be doing with the socials.
You know how to do it. You probably know how to do it better than we do.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, definitely better than me.
That's what I said. Yeah.
I just recently learned how to share things on Facebook. That's how grumpy old man I am.
Yeah, so you definitely know how to do it. You can do it. Do it.
Do what we say you should do.
On that note, what are we drinking, Bo?
What are we drinking? We're drinking some good stuff. This is a Great Lakes bourbon aged Christmas ale this time.
That's right.
We've done Great Lakes before, but this is their bourbon barrel aged.
That's right.
one.
We did. We that's the one that we drank when we were talking about Santa Claus is coming to town.
It was really good.
It was really good. This is just the same thing. aged in some bourbon barrels. I don't think they tell us. But it doesn't tell us what type. I wish we knew what type of bourbon, because sometimes that'll help you know the kind of tasting notes. Again, this is our December Christmas movie marathon. We've got no special hints or clues with the drinks.
Nope, they're all just Christmas ales.
At best, maybe this one's fancy.
Yeah,
and
high
end, and there's some high end stuff going on.
Yeah, because he's a rich prick in this movie.
Yeah, so we watched Scrooged.
Scrooged.
It's a 1988, filmed in 87/88.
This movie's as old as me.
Christmas movie. Bill Murray,
the great Bill Murray.
Richard Donner as the director.
Yeah,
it's also The Goonies and a lot of other like great classic
from the 80s, early 90s.
Then Danny Elfman on music.
Yep.
I only bring that up because this is one of his earlier ones. This
is before Tim Burton swept him up.
Tim Burton swept him up. Now, that being said, some of the music, definitely you can feel it.
Yeah.
You know it's there.
Yeah, you're like, ooh, yeah, there's some Danny Elfman in the background.
That's right. Sets a lot of vibes up in this movie. I picked this movie. This is one of my picks. Like we said, we've done
all mine.
We did the beginning. The very first one was our joint movie. Then the second two that we just finished up, those were Bo's.
Hi.
Now we're on to my two. But Scrooged is one of my... This is another, again, at this point, probably not shocking to any of the people that listen to us because they have heard me say this a lot. I've seen a lot of movies as a child that maybe I...
Probably should have.
Yeah, they were maybe a little bit more adult than what people my age might have been watching.
I think that was just us when we were kids, man.
I guess. But yeah, I definitely seen this one. I did not see this one in theaters. Don't freak out, guys. I was not 4 going out to see this one. But I was definitely watching this regularly by 7 or 8. Like it was in our household Christmas movie. By that point, for sure. It was one of my dad's favorite Christmas movies. I picked it kind of in honor of him.
Yeah,
it's a great movie. As kids, we distinctly, I can remember at 7 or 8, one of the first times I have a recollection of watching the movie. We may have watched it before that, but it just wasn't.
But knowing your dad,
it was too adult for it to really be something I enjoyed yet. Yeah,
I'm playing with my action figures.
Like the first time that I really recall watching it and being aware of what was happening in it.
I paid attention.
Was at like 7, maybe 8 years old, and me and my sister earned ourselves a family tradition from the movie. Because in the movie they mentioned that one of the characters mentions that they opened one Christmas present every Christmas Eve. It's a passing line in the movie. We'll hit it. We'll hit on it when we get to it. But I mean, again, just passing line, not important whatsoever. But you get 2 7-year-olds hear someone say something like that. And we turned to look at our parents, and we were like,
"That's a genius idea. Can you do that?
Is this a thing? This is a thing, right? You heard them. They mentioned it, right? We're going to start doing this.
The real thing. We have to do this."
And so we did from that year forward.
Did you get to pick, or was it just like
it was randomized? So there were a few years where they were 100% like, no, you're not going to even take a chance that you get the good one under the tree.
Yeah.
So they would give us just something. That being said, there were a couple of years where they were totally... Now, again, in hindsight, I know it means that they most likely had already knew the best present was not under the tree.
Yeah. Santa was bringing that one.
It might have even been after a Santa year, but they just might not have been under the tree yet because we were diabolical, and so they didn't always put things under the tree. It was definitely one of those things where I now know, though, that they were most likely not having the best one under the tree, and that's why they did let us have free pick those years.
Probably.
Because they knew no matter what we picked,
it's not going to be the good one.
It wasn't the mega, it wasn't that one where they're like, no, that one waits for fucking Christmas. There's always the one, right? There's one where you got to...
there's one.
It's the big one.
The big one.
And not only is it that one waits for Christmas, that one waits for if someone else isn't there when they're supposed to be, you got to wait till they're there to open it.
Yeah.
That's when in your head, you're like, oh, I don't know what it is yet.
That one's important.
But I'm going to love that one. I have a very strong fondness for this movie because of all these different factors.
Your memories of it are nicer and sweeter and wholesomer than mine. Mine are just like, I was on TV all the time and I watched it. Yeah, there you go. There's my memory of this movie.
Well, and it's Bill Murray.
Yes, gotta love Bill Murray.
I don't have a whole lot else. I think we can go ahead and hit our little bit of who's in the movie. Again, we're not going to hit everybody.
But there is a lot.
There are a lot. We'll hit some of them when we run into them. If they're not super important in the movie, we probably won't cover them right now. We'll just wait when we hit their character, be like, oh, that's this person.
Oh, this movie was full of the I know you.
Oh, definitely.
Every time I turned around, I was like, this guy, I know that guy from something.
But so our big ones that we'll go ahead and for sure mention, we got Bill Murray. Obviously, we've already said
that one
several times now. He is our main character, Frank Cross. He is an executive for
TV executive
for a TV company. Then we have Claire Phillips, played by Karen Allen. That's Indiana Jones fame. She was also in The Sandlot.
Yeah.
She's the mom in The Sandlot.
The mom in The Sandlot.
That's right.
We've talked about her before.
Yes, we have. That's right. Go back, listen to us.
Yes, go back and watch that one. It's good.
Next, we'll mention Bryce Cummings, the antagonist character in the movie.
The new executive coming in.
The guy from L.A.
The L.A. scumbag.
That's John Glover. He's in a lot of things. For me personally, I know him from Smallville. He was Lionel Luthor. He's Lex Luthor's dad in Smallville. So I saw
never
him.
Watched that one.
10 seasons. I watched 10 seasons of it, and he is in 9 of them or something. I mean, he's in most of them. So I've definitely...
He was the first, oh, I know you phase.
Yeah. Then we got in a smaller role, but definitely he's in it early. He's in it later. He kind of just pops up throughout the movie. Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yes.
Bobcat Goldthwait as Elliot Loudermilk. The name not as important because, like I said, he's not a big character in the movie.
It's Bobcat. He's Bobcat all through my notes. You can't hide that voice from me, buddy.
No, and he tries to in the beginning, but
really
before he becomes a drunkard.
Yeah.
He tries to hide it a little bit.
But he still sounds like this.
Yeah, exactly. He has to try really hard.
Just the way he talks.
Yep.
It's very weird.
Then we have our ghost. 2 of the 3. The third one is just obviously a person in a animatronic, something or another with a TV face. It was when we get there.
The TV face was cool. The rest
when we get there, we'll get there. We'll really go in depth about the rest of that costume.
This is one of my favorite Grim Reapers.
The other 2 ghosts, though, because we've not said that yet. I guess we should just take a break real quick before we just say ghosts. This movie. Obviously, the name shouldn't give it away, but it is a
modern remake take on A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, exactly. So it is heavily inspired by. It is obviously not Scrooge.
No.
But it is everything else. So, we got the ghosts, we got the Christmas past, present, future. We've got all that. We've got a former boss who comes and haunts him and tells him that it's going to happen.
You got to get your life together.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is...
You know this story. This is just Bill Murray's version.
Exactly. That's the ghosts. I kind of realized I was saying ghosts, and I was like, we should probably elaborate what ghosts
there might be somebody who's not seen this.
So then the first ghosts are our taxi cab ghost is played by David Johansen. He was in a band, the New York Dolls.
Ah, I know them.
Yeah. Early heavy rock metal.
Yeah.
So that's where his real fame came from. And he started in the late 80s. He started popping up doing random cameo things like this in movies and stuff. And then our other ghost that is worth mentioning again because they're not an animatronic is Carol Kane as our Ghost of Christmas Present.
Yep.
Doing a marvelous job of being batshit insane.
Being nuts.
But she does that well.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite characters of hers are when she's just playing crazy. And then there's no one else that's really super huge in super huge parts, right? So the only other ones that I'll go ahead and just mention right now, just that way if we forget them as we're going through the movie, it's not as important, is, again, this movie takes place around a TV executive.
Yeah.
And he is also putting on a production of Scrooge.
Yeah. That's the whole
point.
Again,
a production of Scrooge, I'll point out. And they keep saying that like that's the name. And that is not, I want to say.
Even the TV promo.
It is not the name of the story. It is A Christmas Carol.
By Charles Dickens.
So I hated that all throughout the movie.
That they kept even on the commercial. It's like join us for Scrooge.
I don't know. I was like, well, and they would even say like a Charles Dickens Scrooge. And I'm like, that's not what it's called.
Even the book the guy's reading on the front, Scrooge.
Did they not get the rights somehow to something that was over 100 years old? I just don't understand. Well,
I don't know.
That doesn't
because they not once say a Christmas
because my dad
Carol.
owned like 100 copies of different versions of A Christmas Carol throughout all years. I doubt it.
There's one Christmas. We'll just go through our favorite Christmas Carol movies. This one might pop back up.
In the televised version of Scrooge that he is putting on, again, Scrooge, no D. His is just Scrooge. Not Scrooged.
It gets confusing.
The D gets hard on this movie too. You're just like, you say it and you're just like, did people hear that? Do they know I said Scrooged? But yeah, so in the TV production that's in the movie, there is Buddy Hackett, like the actual actor Buddy Hackett is in the movie, and then Jamie Farr.
Yes,
just great.
Klinger.
Yeah, and again, we barely see him.
Right.
Like
he has like one line.
We see Buddy Hackett a couple of times.
Yeah, because he's playing Ebenezer.
Yeah,
right?
but Jimmy Farr is totally just in there
for the cameo in the
That's
promo,
it.
and he has like one line.
Yeah, it was so random. I love the fact that he's involved.
I love
It's so
Jimmy
good.
Farr.
We've got two other notable appearance people, but they will be mentioned super early on in the movie. But I'll just go ahead and name drop them. That's going to be Lee Majors and Robert Goulet.
Yeah.
But that we're at this point seconds away from starting the movie, and we'll be touching base on them immediately. All right, but that's, again, like I said, that's all the really big people. We'll mention a couple.
John Forsythe.
Oh yeah, sorry. He is. He's in a lot of.
He's one of the ones I was like, I know you.
That he is. Well, we see him in the flashbacks a couple of times.
Yeah,
right?
looking good. Got the
the suit,
got the turtleneck and shit. Looking good.
Lou, right?
Lou Hayward.
Again, he's not. He's the Marley ripoff.
Yeah,
Jacob Marley,
the mentor to Scrooge.
Yeah.
He is Frank Cross's mentor.
Exactly. Again, because even though this is a new version and they're not using the same names, there are the same character types and plot points. Yeah. All of this is happening. Now, I think we're good to
Now
go.
we can get into the actual movie.
Again, I think we could have just name dropped him when we got to him.
I knew him. He was one of the few ones where I was like, I know you.
Well, I know some of the other ones we're going to mention later.
I have the hardest time with names and faces. So I'm probably like going to be the worst movie reviewer ever because I'm constantly just be like, yeah, I know your face and I can think of 3 things you've been in, but your name, nope. But yeah, movie. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's get into it. So again, I've already touched base on the Danny Elfman situation we got going on.
Yeah.
I am the one that loves to mention the opening song. This opening song is great. It's dark. It's creepy. It gives you Edward Scissorhands. It gives you Tim Burton.
You see why Tim Burton was like, I like this guy. He's creepy like me.
Yeah, because this song, dude, like, and it's so simple. It's just and you're just like, oh, chills almost instantly
Right.
as it's going through, and you're just like panning across.
Oh, it's nice miniatures too of the Santa's workshop and
And then we
all this stuff, and then
zoom in
and live action. It was a real nice
So
transition.
the intro song. This is a beautiful moment too, because this is the intro song is for the movie, despite the fact that we do zoom in on something that is within the movie, within the world of the movie,
a movie within the movie.
And so I love that we get to hear because we've watched a couple now where they would have just been letting us hear the music that was playing for that promo.
Yeah.
So then we'd see this commercial for a
made-for-TV Christmas movie, The Night the Reindeer Died.
starring Lee Majors. Again, we told you he was coming quick.
Psychos have taken over Santa's workshop, and only one man can stop them.
And Santa even calls him the $6 million man.
It's the $6 million man.
You've been a very good boy.
Yeah, he just kind of looks at him like, yeah, all right, whatever.
But yeah, this whole thing, it gave me the same vibes from Jingle All the Way. The
Turbo Man.
The tank. What was the tank commercial? You remember?
Oh, the Total Tank.
Yes, this is Total Tank. This is where Total Tank got the inspiration from.
Right.
Tell me, like, the storyboards
totally
that guys painted out and said was happening isn't the way that this started.
Dude, Santa wouldn't have needed Lee Majors if he had the Total Tank.
Are we going to address this, though? Santa's workshop was loaded
down.
Regardless of Lee Majors.
I want to point out that is not how you store firearms. You can't just lean them up like that in a cabinet.
Santa has magic, sir.
Oh, fine. I will concede that point, but all the rest of you don't store your guns that way.
And it was great. Did you notice the goth?
The goth elf
girl?
right?
Was she even an elf, though? Was she
know.
like their kid?
Maybe.
Because she was normal size, right?
Santa's goth daughter.
She was standing right beside Mrs. Claus, and they were the same size.
I want to see this movie now. Somebody make me The Night the Reindeer Died. I know we can't get Lee Majors. Does he have a son that looks like him?
But we could definitely just get someone, instead of being Lee Majors, being the $6 million man. Mm-hmm. It's easier to say you're that character.
Yeah. They need to remake that one too. Love that show. But this isn't about Lee Majors.
Yeah.
This is just a TV spot. The next one is what was it?
It's
like
Bob Goulet's
Down Home Cajun Christmas or something. He's
being chased by a gator.
By an alligator.
The whole time he's singing, he keeps eyeballing it.
Looking back at it like, what the fuck? It's still there.
Great. Again, that's it. That's the only thing they're here for. 2 random fake TV promos.
Yeah, and then it cuts out of the TV into the boardroom.
Well, no, not yet. First, we get their Scrooge promo.
I thought he pulled out and then he says, "Show me the Scrooge promo."
Does he?
Yeah, because they're all like
It's
looking
for
at
half
it.
a second. Yeah, that's right.
Because they're all looking at him like, "See, look how good it is," and he's just kind of like, "Show me the Scrooge promo." All dark and serious and shit. And it pops up and it's on. It's what you'd expect for like a Christmas Carol, right? You got the old man reading the book, and they're all like, join us next Friday for the heartwarming tale and all that shit.
They name drop Buddy Hackett
and Jamie Farr. This is their
and
first,
Mary Lou Retton.
Mary Lou Retton as Tiny Tim.
Which is beyond.
Well, instead of just
bizarre.
walking, she throws the crutch and does a big double somersault.
I know why. I've seen the movie. And I've seen the clips. I've seen the behind the scenes of the movie where they actually interviewed Mary Lou Retton about doing this spot for the movie. I know.
I want to see that.
It doesn't make it any less bizarre. As both a real world choice and an in-universe choice to
Why
be Tiny
Mary
Tim.
Lou Retton?
Yeah.
She's short, I guess.
All right. Well, now you've expanded all the possible reasons. What else?
I got nothing. Moving on.
So.
Because kids love an acrobat, according to that one guy.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
why
know.
Mary Lou
I don't
Retton
know.
is there.
My kids love her. I don't know.
No, but not Bill Murray.
That's right. We're
Frank
movie
Cross,
world.
Mr. Cross, is not happy with this promo.
He says, everybody's like, oh, but this. And he's like, well, I would have done it different.
He sits there, he's like, we've spent $4 million on this. And
Was it 4 or 40?
was it
Either
4
way,
or 40? I can't remember.
Either way, too much for an 80s TV production.
Yeah, live TV production even.
What the fuck?
Right, but then he's just like, I have to kill you all. And they all actually look genuinely concerned for a second. But then he shows him his.
Yeah.
And his is terrifying.
It's just
Don't miss it or you'll
it has
die.
nothing to do with
The actual...
Again, both here. It has nothing to do with A Christmas Carol. And it has nothing to do with his production.
No.
Because again, his production could have had nothing to do with A Christmas Carol, despite being called Scrooge.
Yeah.
But we do know it is. It is a very faithful production, despite the weird half-naked ladies dancing around.
You can barely see him.
But everything else we see of the production looks like a very faithful production.
It's got the snow and the top hats. And
Well, yeah,
all
it
that
looks
other
like
shit.
it looks like old school England. It looks like what you expect.
Victorian era.
But that's not his commercial.
His commercial is just
It's death and napalm and helicopters flying
There's
around.
like literally like they're shooting up heroin and like dude rolls up in a shotgun, shoots dude in the face on a highway.
You literally see like one man in the boardroom like crying. He is brought to tears.
He's just like
weeping by the monstrosity
Right.
that he's seen on the screen.
and it ends with Scrooge. Your life may just depend on it.
I don't
Everybody
know,
was
bad
leaving.
thing.
Everybody was leaving like half throwing up, like, oh my god, what did I just freaking watch?
And then our boy Elliot.
Bobcat.
Yeah.
Elliot, yes, his name is Elliot Loudermilk.
Yep. Louder milk.
Milkman.
Our boy Elliot, though, he feels the need to stop, and he has to tell him.
He's the only one with a freaking set of balls out of any of these guys,
He's like, sir, I don't know if you know this, but that's not really the vibe.
right? Like, what did that have to do
That's
with
not Christmas, sir.
with a Christmas Carol at all?
I don't think my family would like to see a commercial like that on Christmas, or to see the thing that it's a commercial for.
No, and Frank's just like, well, it's a little late to tell me this
Yeah.
now, and he's just like, well, I just saw it.
Yeah, well, you just told me, so.
Right? He's like, I did just kind of spring it on you. I tell you what, if I can change it, I'll let you know in 5 minutes.
He will not.
No, because as soon
As soon as he walks out of the room,
He looks at
tells
his-
his
yeah.
assistant Grace, he says,
who the fuck is that guy?
fire him.
Fire that guy. I want his locks changed. I want security to escort him out of the building. And she's like, you're firing him on Christmas Eve? And he's like, yes. Call HR, cancel his Christmas bonus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you can see her just like
Are you-
deflated.
Are you fucking serious?
She's deflated because she's like, I wanted to be no part of that decision.
Right.
And right now you're making it feel like I was the one who
Yeah,
made that
man,
decision.
I'm the one who has to call and do it. He makes it worse because as soon as she does, she calls the people. He looks, there's like a drawing that her kid did and stuff. And he's like, this is crap.
Rips it off the
Rips
wall.
it off. He's like, it's crap. Get it out of here. I don't want it on the wall. He is a
can't-
total dick.
Yeah. And that's all that part was for,
Yeah,
too,
it
right?
was
Just to
just
make sure we
really
knew that.
lay it in. It's
yeah.
like, he's not even nice to his sweet secretary here.
And then we see her, right? She makes the call, code 9.
Yeah, because this
It's
happens
happened
a
so
lot.
much that they
just
got
have
a nickname code for it, so that way they can quickly do it, right?
Yeah,
And that is true because the next thing we see in the next scene, whenever he starts to go over with her the Christmas gifts, and he's looking out his window,
through the telescope.
he is timing it.
Yeah,
Did you know it's 4 minutes and like 40 seconds,
or
right?
something like that? And he's like,
It's under 5.
Yeah, and out the building. Louder milk.
That is crazy. Right? Under 5 minutes because they were in some kind of skyscraper. It was tall. It was a big building.
Dude, they threw him down.
He was looking through a telescope. That's nuts.
Looked like an ant from his perspective. That's why he needed the telescope.
But again, while that's going on, we get to see his secretary Grace was going over with him the Christmas gifts he was going to give out that year. Everybody was getting either one of 2 things.
Yeah.
A towel
or a VCR.
Top-end VHS player. It is just a VCR, guys. Yeah. But at the time, you would still hear people
say
pull out
like
the
that.
Full terminology. VHS player.
Yeah, because this was like right after the VHS Betamax war. VHS had won.
Yeah, that's right. And it was just starting to be like, again, at this point, at this point, it still wasn't like every home. It was still like, you know, like most homes, but not every home. It wasn't one of those.
They weren't cheap either. Yet. My dad told me, like, man, the first one I bought was like $300.
Yeah, they were expensive back in the day. And so again, for him to be buying anybody those.
Yeah, and just giving them out as a present. He has to like you, or you got just really great ratings.
Yeah, and that's what we see.
Unlike that one guy.
That's
he's asked. He's like, what were the ratings on that one show?
Towel.
A 5 with a 70 overall. I'm like,
but either way, it wasn't good to him.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough, so he gets a towel.
And then she says, what about your brother?
Towel.
And she goes, what?
Your own brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck him.
As we're finishing it up and everything's leaving, we find out, the boss is coming.
Yeah, the president of the entire company.
Because this is where it gets weird, right? So he's the president of that network. And so it must be a company that owns multiple networks, like a media company.
Yeah, like the guy that Alec Baldwin worked for on 30 Rock.
He is the boss of IBC.
Yes.
But this guy is the guy who
owns the umbrella company over
something
it, I
weird
guess.
like that.
Because he kisses his ass the second he walks in the door. He's like, oh, you look good. You've been working out. Grace, why didn't you tell me?
Preston Rhinelander.
That's a
weird
nice,
name.
strong German name.
In their rush to try to make him look important and busy real quick, and he's sending her out the door, he says, oh, yeah, and by the way, you get a towel for yourself.
Put yourself down for a towel.
And she gets upset.
What about my bonus?
Obviously so.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, yeah. And a face cloth.
Yeah, there you go, because you did such a great job. She got more than most other people.
Got more than
her. Got more than his brother.
Yeah,
there you go.
Gee.
He thinks more highly of you than his own brother. You should feel privileged you got a face towel with the IBC logo on it.
That's right. But then, like we said, Mr. Rhinelander, Preston,
Rhinelander.
He comes in, Grace leaves. He comes in with the
craziest fucking idea.
The most batshit insane plan I have ever heard. He was like, so let me pitch this to you. I think within the next 20 years, animals are our next demographic.
Cats and dogs. I have this report. These scientists
that say that they're starting to notice the things on the screen and actually watch them. I'm telling you, they are our next demographic.
Programming for cats. It's genius.
Wasn't there a dormouse in Scrooge?
No, but now that you say it, I think there should be
dormice.
Yes, oh, genius.
Even better.
My favorite part was he's like, you remember Kojak? And he had the sucker, and he's saying, what about a detective with a piece of string? A lot of,
dangling in front
of quick, random movement. I'm like, you know what? A cat would watch that.
They would, but this guy is nuts.
Right.
For pitching this idea.
As soon as he gets in the elevator, he's
like, I wish we could fire
Right, I wish
guy.
I could fire that guy. Jeez.
Right? Because it's insane.
Yep.
Yeah, so then once that wraps up, he gets back to his office. He tells his secretary, Grace, he's like, I need you to say we need to work late because this guy's nuts.
Yeah, he ran into Bryce, too, in the elevator.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right. That's
why
right.
he goes running off.
Yeah, he meets Bryce, that's right. After escorting
to Rhinelander
to the elevator and turning around, he runs into Bryce. And at first, we have no idea why, right? Like he just says he's going to
introduce himself. He's like, I'm going up to see the big man.
He says they've met. He said they met.
We met before.
Yeah, somewhere, some random
going
place.
Up to see Preston or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, because he's friends with Preston's son.
They went to the same school.
And so it's really weird, really awkward, really strange. Frank knows right away.
He's like, oh, threat.
Yeah, and so he tells Grace, we need to find out everything we can about him. We're going to be working late. I need you to do this. And she's like, I can't work late. I told you this already.
I have a doctor's appointment. I have to take my kid.
But if I can't work late, you can't work late. If you can't work late, I can't work late. He just spits out a lot of nonsense.
And if I can't work late, I can't work late.
Right? Like, it was just a lot of nonsense.
Right.
She was like, what are you even fucking saying right now? And then she hits him with the magic. Again, she'd been hiding this in her back pocket.
Right.
She knew this. She was waiting.
She was.
And she just goes, oh, yeah, by the way, your brother's in your office.
And I didn't
Deuces,
tell him. And I
right?
didn't tell him about his towel.
But, you know, she was just waiting because she was like, oh, I don't even have to worry. I know I'm not staying because I'm going to mention this and then I'm out.
Yep, I'm leaving. Bye.
And so she did exactly that. She mentioned this and then she was out. At that moment, we see he gets to meet with his brother.
Did you see
in the exercise room?
Did you see what was written on the wall up there? Cross definition: a thing you nail people to.
Right? What the? It's all kinds. Well, again, it's supposed to be like that '80s, like crazy, like hardcore
American
business
Psycho
like
kind of businessman.
Yeah.
Win, make money at all cost, fuck family and everything else.
That room, that exercise room was nuts to start with. But yeah, so we get his brother James, who we see a few times. All of the people in the Cross family are played by actual people in Bill Murray's family.
You told me that.
Isn't that amazing?
Like this is one of his brothers.
This is one of his brothers. Then the guy who plays his dad, we'll get there soon. But yeah, in the flashback, we'll have somebody who is one of his brothers, and then we'll have one more, his fourth. I think there are only 4. Lord help me, I might be wrong.
He might have sisters too.
I have no idea, but I definitely know that the 4 that I've seen before,
a Murray Brothers production.
They are all are playing people in the family.
Yeah, that's even better. Because kind of keep the facial structure looking the same.
Mm-hmm. So it was I think it was a great idea.
It looked good. I totally believed they were brothers. I just thought it was good casting.
Yeah, well now you know it was good casting.
It was great best casting you could ever do.
He sees James. They have a little bit of banter in the building. James follows him out of the building. Like, we don't even know why. Like, much like Frank himself, we have no idea what the fuck his brother is doing.
No. Just kind of walk out onto the street.
He's trying to just ditch him, right?
Yeah,
he's just trying to walk faster and faster and not listen to what he's saying. And he's following him. He's like, finally, he pitches what he's there for. He's
Frank
like,
knew.
Yeah. He's like, hey, man. You want to come to family dinner?
You coming this year? Nope.
We'd love to have you.
Absolutely not.
But why not?
Because Christmas is a crock. It's for children.
I worship my Christmas by doing what I'm doing and having millions of people love the things that I'm putting out there for them to watch on Christmas.
I'm Christmas's biggest fan, you know. Yeah.
He's such a dickheaded comment.
It is. And he's like, I like you. I like being around you, but, you know, send me a Christmas card. Make sure it's on recycled paper. I liked that part.
That's it.
And enjoy your
And then he
cool friends, like he's a little jealous and stuff. Your cool friends at your house and all that shit.
Well, that's where the recycle paper. He was making fun of them for being like yuppies. But yeah, so he was kind of making fun of them. But then he totally just knocks the old lady out the way and takes her
fucking cab.
I was like, damn, cold blooded, dude.
She's
in front of his brother,
right? She's a sinner. She's like, oh please. He flips her off through the window, and to the great old lady's credit, she's like, you son of a bitch, you burn in hell. I was like, get him, old lady.
They really wanted you to know
he was a bastard,
right? They wanted you to know,
stone cold,
from top to bottom. Like, you know, this isn't one of those like he's just an upper echelon like douchey kind of. No, from top to bottom, like that's the basest level kind of dickery you can have. Pushing an old lady out of the way of a cab,
just, boom, taking your cab, and she had her arms full of shit too.
Then we see him. He goes. He wins some award. This is how unimportant the award was.
The award was for the like Brotherhood of Giving or something like that.
He didn't care. He didn't want to be there. Even as soon as he leaves, he gets another cab. He leaves it behind. Never thinks about it again.
Doesn't look back. Nothing.
It's gone.
Has the cool like Darth Vader entrance into the building where like the security salute him and shit. I was like, that's so awesome.
Crazy. We get a brief moment right where we see a glimpse of Grace, where she lives at.
I think so.
Yeah, she's taking her kid home, and it's the first time we hear her. She mentions the doctors. I'm paying $200 to a doctor to tell me that you can't speak when I sit here and I can hear that you can't talk. Yeah, that's when we get that moment.
That's that part.
It's a little bit of a glimpse for us. We see she lives on the rough side of town. We know she's got a kid that has some major problems. We don't know much what it is.
With the boy.
We know he can't talk. We don't know anything beyond that. That's it. That's all we see right now. They give us this slow build-up for her character. Most everybody else we see, you know everything about them you need to know in 30 seconds. She's the one where they kind of milk it out for a little bit.
Yeah, everybody else is like, here, this is me.
Face value.
Yeah.
But then we cut back to the office, right? After we see her. In his office. When we get the hauntings. I love this because, again, I saw this at a very young age the first time. This is the beginning of like, it's not crazy scary because the comedy starts up immediately after some of the scary, right?
Right.
But for a little kid, it's really hard for you to like wait for the comedy. You're so scared by the scary that you don't see the immediate comedy after it.
Yeah.
So this is one of those moments because when he first sees the ghost's presence, right? it beats the fuck out of that door. That door is
punching
dented
the
in,
shit out
right?
of it.
And I mean it. I was so scared as a little
Yeah,
kid,
I
right?
can see that.
But then immediately, I mean, we're talking about 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
The door comes down. He walks in. He's in golf clothes, bright
carrying
pink.
his golf clubs and shit. Got the little hat and sunglasses and shit.
Don't
the gloves
mind me.
Even the little golf gloves.
Don't mind me. Walks over to the bar, pours himself a
Starts
drink.
pouring him a drink.
Total comedy, right? But again,
You think it's even-
7-year-old me
yeah.
was so scared.
Especially when the door exploded too.
Oh,
That
dude.
probably was even like the cherry on top of like, cover my face.
It was intense for sure.
Scared Bill, he pulled his gun.
Pulls his gun out.
I love
unloads.
it. I love it. He's like,
Unloads.
bam, ba-bam, blam, blam, blam.
And then
saying it while he's shooting.
And then he just slowly turns around.
I don't care if you hit me, kid, but go easy on the Bacardi. Takes a drink.
Takes a drink.
Just
And we see just like
shooting
Lou Hayward looking like a water fountain,
just
right?
every direction. Booze is pouring out.
We skipped over. But at this point, we've seen Frank drinking several vodka and tabs.
Yes.
Some Stoli, some high-end
Stoli,
vodka.
that's some expensive vodka. When I saw the bottle the first time I watched it, I saw the red and the white, and I was like, is he drinking Farskis? Come on, brother, step it up.
Or some dark eyes. But
Yeah.
that's just it. Those things are all
Heaven Hill.
they're all mimicking
That-
Stoli. Yeah, they want to look like
that's
that.
good vodka.
Yeah,
that's
they
made
want-
from
they wanna-
potatoes.
They want to look like the real stuff is why they all do
It's
that.
like $70 a bottle.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, if we were gonna do this movie in a month where we weren't just doing Christmas ales
ales?
and doing our favorites,
Oh, yeah.
we would have done we couldn't have done a Stoli and Tab. Tab's not on the market.
They don't make Tab anymore, do they?
No, we went off the market in 2020, so I mean, we're not
Damn.
far off,
We
dude.
missed it. Maybe somebody's got some stash.
It doesn't even matter now. We found our way to do it without having to need the Tab.
Yeah, we worked around it. It's
That's
Christmas.
right. Beautiful.
Beautiful. We're
That's
so
right.
fucking
But that would have been the drink for sure.
Yeah,
because
it
that's
would've
we
been.
see he drinks like 5 of them in the movie.
yes.
Every time you turn
Every time you
around,
turn around is what he's
pouring
drinking.
some Stoli into some Tab. Let's get back on track. Lou is there. This is his former boss. So again, I don't understand the full hierarchy here. I guess maybe Lou was partners with
Rhinelander.
right?
And then he died, so Rhinelander took over the whole thing.
That's all I can
That's
figure.
all I could figure, yeah. Sounds right.
Or Lou just had the job that Frank has now.
Could be. He could have just been the president of the network, and then
And
when
he was still
died,
answering to Rhinelander. But
then when he
somehow
died,
there's
yeah.
some kind of something.
He was
here.
mentoring Frank.
Yeah, we know that. They were mentors and friends.
Yeah,
Even
best friends, he says.
Yeah, so
They partied and got bitches together.
pretty much.
That's what it
Pretty
meant.
much. We see enough of their relationship once we start going a little bit further that's definitely all that he means.
The line where he's just like, I was adored by women. He's like,
We both know you just paid for
you
them.
paid for the women. Let's be honest
real.
here.
Yeah, exactly. You paid for the women. Right after that line, he goes, "You're the man who invented the miniseries."
miniseries.
And I was like, "What? What a claim! What a claim!"
Hey, that's a huge claim to fame.
It is,
right
dude.
there.
I'm not saying.
Made me think. I was like, I want to know who actually did invent the miniseries. How long have we?
I'd
been
love
doing
to
that
know the
shit?
fictional miniseries that was the one he created
Right.
the miniseries with.
I would watch all the movies and shit they came up with in this movie.
At this point, Lou literally just goes hard into the change your fucking. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, dude.
again, Marley in the original
Kinda yelled at
Christmas
him
Carol,
and shook his chains
He
and
tries
shit.
to ghostly scare him for a little bit first, right?
right?
Fuck no, dude. Lou hardcore goes, look, I know what I look like. That shouldn't be scary. You want to know what's fucking scary? What's fucking scary is what's waiting for you if you don't fucking change your life.
Right.
You need to change your life fucking now. If you don't fucking change your life, he goes
fucking
hard.
holds him out the window.
Dude, that scene looks dope.
Right where he's
The effects for that.
the hand or
and you start to
breaks
see
and
the
shit.
zombie arm falling
it was
apart.
So good.
And finally give way.
Practical effects.
For a split second, Lou thought he was getting to him.
Yeah.
Getting through to him. And when he didn't, he shoves him through the window. We get the cool practical effect. The arm falls off.
Yeah.
He goes flying down, falling out of the
I like when he's pushing him out
skyscraper.
the window. He's like, "Oh, Lou, please no, they'll think I'm a suicide."
But when he falls,
he lands back in his office in his neat little shade
in his
lounge
nice-
thing.
nothing happened.
Nope.
Nothing wrong. So that he doesn't know if it's real or not, what's going on.
He has been
But then
drinking a lot.
But then he rolls over, right?
Yeah.
Looks and he sees the phone
Dials
dialing
itself.
itself and calls a woman named Claire. Now, again, I've seen this movie 100 times.
Yes.
I can't practically remember a point in my life where I haven't seen this movie. So it's really hard for me to picture a world where you don't know who she is. But like just trying to picture this movie
The first time you've seen it.
and not knowing who the fuck this character
Yeah,
is,
you're
it
like,
seems
why
like
is
this
she
would probably be
fucking
really
important?
weird.
Yeah,
For the ghost to call her right after the scene we saw.
it did. super weird, but he jumps up, grabs the phone because it goes.
And he starts talking to her.
Yeah, and he's like, something
He's
happened.
like, we not talked for 15 years.
Fucking years.
He's like, but I definitely do need to talk to you. Something
How is
crazy.
their number still the same?
Well, it was in the Rolodex. Did you notice it was in the... Because this was pre-caller ID. So the fact that it said Claire after being dialed doesn't mean that it was caller ID information. It means that there was like a programmable Rolodex in the phone.
Yeah, they had those. You could sit there and you push.
So that means her number was still saved. 15 years ago, there wouldn't have been a phone to save it in. He has kept her number.
Aww.
Well, I guess... We also live in New York or some shit. How the fuck do you think she still has the same phone number 15 years later? Do you think she's renting the same hovel? Because you see her.
Yeah.
She's renting a hovel. Do you think it's the same one for 15 years?
Maybe it's
She's
rent.
moved all over
Maybe
the
it's
city.
rent protected. I don't know.
Maybe.
She only pays $50 a month.
She got it from one of the homeless people.
Right? And she's like, yeah, man, I ain't fucking going anywhere.
I can maybe believe this. All right. I'll give you credence to that.
Yay.
He leaves a message with her. Did not get through to her.
No, it just goes on like something weird happened.
Something crazy
or
happened.
didn't. I don't know, but I have to talk to you.
Well, that's almost the end of that scene, right? Then we see him go to take another drink of his vodka and tab.
And he spits out a golf ball.
He spits out the golf ball because he showed up with all the golf stuff.
Yeah, it's like, that wasn't a dream, was it? It's like, yeah, otherwise there wouldn't be a golf ball in your mouth.
And Claire's fucking phone number wouldn't have been ringing,
right?
Well, all of this because again, he didn't dial the phone.
No, the ghost did. I assume Lou, because it doesn't show anybody.
Well, and there are no others. He mentioned the 3.
Yeah,
like he's supposed to. Being our Jacob Marley substitute.
Yes.
Yeah, he said specifically, the next one
by 3 ghosts.
Well, the first one won't be here until tomorrow at
noon.
Yeah, whatever time
noon,
or something.
I think, yeah.
So he knew it wasn't yet. So I guess it had to be Jacob.
Yeah, had to have been.
Calling the number. Then we get another look into Grace's life, right? We see now that she's got a lot of kids.
Yeah, she has like 5.
4
kids.
or 5. They're all
piled in this tiny ass apartment,
and they like to pick on poor Calvin.
Poor kid,
right? We hear in the distance, like it's her and her mom maybe,
I guess,
and her oldest daughter all talking in the kitchen.
Yeah,
and we just all of a sudden we hear like too much fun.
They're like, we don't have a tree. He's like, yeah, because they're decorating the trees.
Like, yeah, we do.
Yeah, we're decorating trees. Like, no, we don't have one. She's like, yeah, we do now. And they go in there and they got poor
Calvin. But then you even hear the one woman say, like, looks better than he did last year. Meaning they do this to him.
He looked
all the time.
So sad.
So defeated. Because,
right? Just,
you can tell. They take advantage of this kid because he doesn't talk.
Yeah, because he won't say anything.
It's awful.
It is. I felt so bad for him. They're all like, plug him in.
Yeah.
Even the mom laughs. Even Grace, she's trying not to, but she does. I'm like, man.
He's going to see that. He's going to remember that.
Right. He's going to remember that you laughed.
That's all it was there for. It was, again, just more of our slow build to know a little bit more about her.
Yeah, she's the only one that gets like character development.
No. It's just her. We don't get that for anybody else in this movie. She's very important in that.
Oh, in case you didn't realize, and her son, Calvin is our Tiny Tim character.
Yeah, Calvin, her son, is obviously
in case you didn't catch that,
that's the reason he doesn't speak. Yeah, that's his affliction.
Yeah, instead of being on a crutch, he just doesn't talk.
Instead of being on a crutch and tiny.
He doesn't talk in his tiny.
Again, that's all that scene was there for. It's just setting more up for us with that
I'm
family.
Fine with. I love when movies do shit like that. A lot of movies, they're just like, whatever, they'll realize it.
Then we cut back to Frank's office, making me wonder if he ever went home. Did he sleep in the office?
I guess, because it's morning now. He's like eating breakfast.
And we see one of the women that was in the boardroom. One of the board execs, we don't know exactly who she is, talking about how this is a star-studded cast.
Familiar face.
It is 100% the mom from the Goonies.
Oh my God.
It's Mikey and Brent's mom.
It so is. Nice.
Like we said.
Richard Donner directed this. I bet he was just like,
no,
hey,
I was going to say that.
Did a good job.
I was going to say that, dude.
Nice. Networking.
But yeah, so I love that. It was a nice touch. I love the Goonies.
Right.
Give me a connection anytime we can get one.
Movies full of I know you.
But so this woman, though, hands Frank a newspaper and says, "You've got to look at this, Frank.
We killed someone.
An old lady.
We killed an old grandmother.
In some in some Midwestern state. I don't even know if they named what state, but they were just saying some random place.
She was 80 years old watching their Scrooged promo.
Yeah, we see that there's this lady who died.
Watching the Scrooge promo.
Yeah, we don't know exactly. Again, at first Frank even tries to play the devil's advocate for the good side. Not negatively. He's like, well, we don't actually know our thing did it. But then he immediately, when you're thinking to yourself, oh, he's not so bad of a guy. He's trying to be like, she could have died from any number. They're just trying to pin that on us. That's kind of great. Then he immediately follows it up with, those are gonna be great for our numbers.
You can't pay for this kind of publicity. This is great.
The worst part is, at first when he says it, you're like, oh, that woman is even going to be disgusted by it, right?
Right.
But she is even like tickled.
Yeah,
she was like, oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
What the hell?
I mean, that's TV people, man. Whatever gets people watching it. And
the best one of them got fired 5 minutes into the movie.
Right. I mean, but he's not wrong. If I heard that there was a show that's
I would definitely be watching.
Killed somebody, I'd be like, no, I'm going to watch that shit. I want to see how bad it is. It would have totally worked.
But then we hear from there that Frank needs to go down to the set, right?
Yeah, they need him on set.
So we finally get our first look at the IBC Scrooge
production
and the set that they've got. Again, like I said, it's very true to what you expect a Christmas Carol to look like. Very true to real what's in the story in the book.
If they would do stuff like this, like the Cinderella live they did in the 90s. The set looked like this.
Yeah,
it looked
this is very nice.
On.
Looks very real. Right. Very, very good.
I could totally believe this is a live network production.
But so when Frank gets down there on set, he gets stopped by the censor, bitches at him, says, we can't have this.
We can't have this costume.
I want to point out, the costume she's pointing at definitely has no place. They are literally in the middle of a set that looks like it was cut out of like downtown village England somewhere.
And we got these bitches in like bikinis and
don't get me wrong, so like Victorian hat.
Yeah, they got a top hat.
But 100% does not fit for where they're standing.
But they're the dancers, and the dancers gotta look sexy, man.
I guess. But so the censor is like, look, her full on nip.
I can see her nips.
It is out, and you could.
Yeah, you could see them.
It was definitely like full top third.
You couldn't see the bump. Yeah, but you could definitely see the.
You
knew it was a nipple.
Yeah.
And those two guys come up and they're just like, I mean, you can barely see it. And he's like, yeah, see, they're really looking.
Yeah, exactly. They're really trying and they can't. And she's like, well, we're not finished talking about this. Clock.
She gets knocked the fuck out by a lamppost.
First of many.
Yeah, this poor bitch
gets constantly.
She's getting fucked up through this whole
beat
thing.
up
every time you turn around.
Poor censorship lady.
Right.
That being said, I don't like the people that do that job. So
fuck her.
Yeah.
Fuck your job, not you as a person. But
exactly.
Like when you are,
but you chose that at some point.
But like
you actively decided to do that.
You had it coming. You earned it.
Yeah, it is what it is. But then while we're on set, in the middle of all this weird fucking chaos, Claire shows up.
Yes, and we're supposed to know who the fuck she is.
Exactly. We still don't have any clue. Much like I've done for some other movies, I've posited to you slight alterations that could make this movie better.
In the wrong order.
This scene should be after the Ghosts of Christmas Past, where we actually get to find out about Claire.
Yes, I agree. It should. Then she shows up on set, and he has his like, oh, well, maybe I'm not too late.
Yeah.
And then...
But no, the way it is right now...
Makes no sense.
Because he's literally, at this point, not talked to her in 15 years.
And somebody yells lumpy from off camera. And
we don't know anything about that. We don't know that reference yet because
No.
we've not seen that flashback yet. All of it.
It gets explained later.
It is a problem.
It should have been explained first.
Yes, it is a problem. As they're having their refresher...
Meet cute?
Yeah, their dance around the conversation of if anybody's single or not and whatnot. The animal handler shows up.
He shows up. He has a little dormouse and it's so cute. And he has little antlers. And he's
and
like...
he goes, I've tried... This was what was outrageous to me. Like, he says, I've tried everything. Super glue even. Didn't work. And then Bill Murray's like... Staple it. Okay, my problem here, again, staple it was obviously outrageous. Right. And that everybody in the scene agrees that was outrageous.
Yeah, even Claire's like,
super glue was outrageous.
Yeah, you shouldn't be putting super glue on a fucking mouse.
So I was like, I can't believe that we didn't all gasp when he already said super glue.
Right.
Because to me, I was like, PETA is already freaking out.
Right? You can't use super glue on a mouse. What's wrong with you? You have to use the
weird type of, you can drop water on it to break it apart and stuff.
Water-soluble glue. That's what you have to use.
That was nuts.
Yeah.
The way that thing was positioned on its head, the mouse's hand could never have
got it off.
Knocked it off.
No, you could have put an elastic band under his little mouse chin and it would have worked fine. You're talking staples and glue and shit.
But so again, he did throw out staple it. Claire freaked out. Yeah. Rightfully so.
I will call the Humane Society.
But even when she freaks out, she is still not against it.
No.
This should be his first sign that the door is still open, because she did not hear that and immediately say, fuck dude, I've not talked to you in 15 years. That was nuts. I'm out.
You're still an asshole.
Right? No, she was like...
All she says is like, you're still trying to control the world?
Yeah, still acting like it was cute.
Yeah, and he's like, well, you're still trying to save it. And it's like, oh, it's like, no, you're an asshole. Fuck you. I don't get why she's so
it
accepting.
Stays every time they have an interaction until the end when we know he's changed. But in the beginning...
the very end.
Because she's like this the whole time.
Yeah, she's
even when he's
nice.
An unchanged man, she is still very interested in him. And I do not understand it.
She's totally willing to go with it. Just like,
especially after we see we're jumping ahead.
Right.
We're literally about to get there. We're about to have our flashback. Yeah. And we'll get to address exactly what went down with them and why this is so absurd for her to act this way.
All that happened next is he goes to lunch.
No, I know that, but again, we don't immediately talk about those scenes. That's why I was saying, like, we're about to talk about their relationship. We're not yet, though. They have one, when they travel back in time, we get one stop before we start with them, right? That's what I was getting.
Yeah.
Okay. We won't talk about them immediately. We do, we see there is this stupid dinner.
Yeah, he goes to lunch with
why?
Fucking Rhinelander.
Yeah, Rhinelander.
I can't remember his first name, but Rhinelander is a cool name. I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah, so he has another dinner,
and then he says
nothing really happening. Bryce is with him.
Yeah, he says I hired Bryce to help you.
It's like
and
I
he
knew
kind
it.
of flips
but then at the moment though, he looks at the time.
It's noon,
and he gets a drink served, and for a split second he sees the ice cube looks like an eyeball.
Yeah, that's an eyeball.
Another one of this whole dinner or lunch, whatever this meal freaked me out as a kid. It's the secondary. The eyeball, then the guy on fire. Because this guy on fire scene goes for a while, dude.
That poor guy was on fire for like 30 seconds.
It starts right here. Like, you can tell they want you to think he thinks Bryce is the first ghost, which already doesn't make sense because he met Bryce way before. So doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
But he is delirious at this point.
Yeah, he's losing his shit.
Probably hasn't slept because of everything that happened the night before.
And he drinks a lot.
And so he is convinced Bryce is the first ghost.
Because he even kind of goes, aha!
Yeah. But Bryce is definitely not the first ghost.
Right, because he's super confused.
While this is going on, he looks across the room. There's a dude just making baked Alaska. The waiter is even saying it to him. The old waiter, Alaska. The old waiter guy is just like
another guy who I've seen you so many other places.
And that Bill Murray was like, you.
Are you him? You? He's like, no. Are you he? He's obsessed with.
Are you he, sir?
He does. Every time he says something, he corrects his grammar.
But yeah, so it's real crazy. But the baked Alaska guy, he thinks is on fire.
Right, full flame.
It stays that way for like 5 minutes. We just see he just keeps looking over, and nobody else is reacting to what he sees as a guy just slowly burning to death. And so he finally is like, I just have to leave. I have to go, guys. I have to get some air.
Right.
I have to go. And as he's walking out the door, he immediately beeline straight to that guy with a pitcher full of water and tosses it straight on him. And as soon as he hits the water on him, you see no fire.
No fire. He's just like counting money.
Counting his tips.
Like, what the fuck did you throw water on me for?
I love what he tells the guy. You know him?
I thought you were Richard Pryor.
What the fuck? This dude is white. Italian at best, like right, like maybe a little bit of some tannish, like olive, right?
He had a Jerry curl. I mean,
but he was certainly not black. He was certainly not Richard Pryor.
That's some funny shit. And in case you're wondering, Richard Pryor accidentally lit himself on fire one time and ran down the street.
Hence
why he thought you looked like Richard Pryor.
And again, on fire. That's why that guy was very confused. Because he doesn't know there was a fire.
The hell? I'm not on fire and I'm not black, dude.
Yeah. It was great. But so, yeah, once we get outside, though, is when we finally see the cab.
Yeah, the cab. Our first
ghost. This time, instead of Frank stealing a cab from someone else, the cab steals Frank.
Him. Yeah, because there's another one.
That was going to get him, and he just bumps it out the way. This is where we get our first ghost.
The ghost of Christmas past.
That's right.
It's even on his license.
Yeah, well, he announces it right away because Frank's like, what is this? This is crazy. You're not taking me where I need to go. He's like, no, I'm taking you where you need to go. I'm not taking where you want to go.
Right.
And he's like, check it out. I'm the ghost. That's all he says, right?
Yeah,
the ghost. I'm the ghost. Because that's what Frank's been saying. He keeps calling people the ghost. Now, are you one of them? The ghost.
Are you the ghost?
And so that's what he says, "I'm the ghost."
He's got that real
He's
Brooklyn
got
accent.
like the crazy like vein, like
Right.
zombie vein things coming off to the side of one
Real
eye. Just one of them.
real fucked up teeth and shit.
They did his makeup so well.
good,
He was
right,
so
so
creepy,
great.
but on the verge of still just looking like a guy.
Right.
It was perfect.
Fantastic.
But yeah, so he's like, I'm going to take you to see the past.
We're on our way back to the past.
So the first stop they go, 1955.
Yeah.
Gotta love 1955.
Good year.
It's Back to the Future. That's where
Yeah.
they go to in Back
That's
to
what
the
I'm
Future.
saying. Good year.
It's always the year you go back
No
to.
one wants to go
Why
to
do people go
1954.
back to
'Cause
1955?
1954 sucked. And 1956 is kind of meh.
So they go back to 55 to his childhood home. He was 5 years old.
Yeah, little kid.
We've seen somewhere in the movie they mention, or somehow it gets shown on screen that he was a 1950. He is definitely 5 and 55.
Yeah.
Keeps it really simple for you to know his age throughout the movie that way, which I think is part of why they made sure to set it up like that.
Probably. The
Right,
math.
like so that way
the
because-
math is easy for
because
everybody.
we're gonna hit a lot of years here in a minute. Like
Yeah.
right after this, we start going really quick. It starts in 55. He's 5 years old. He's glued to the TV.
Like
His
you would
mom's
be.
watching, chain smoking while pregnant because
Like you
it's
would
that
be.
kind of thing. Dad shows up. He's home. Time to celebrate.
Christmas.
What'd you get me, Dad?
I got you 5 pounds of veal.
Prime.
Prime. Milk fed. Which, to be fair, that's nice, but
But he makes the statement. He's like, I just can't believe that I was so ungrateful for such. That's like $50 worth of prime veal cutlet right there.
no, he's not lying. Like a fucking veal cut like that, that's some prime shit.
Now, again, the other thing I want to point out
That's
about
worth way more than choo-choo, all I'm saying.
the other thing I want to point out about this scene, though, is again, like I said earlier, the dad. Dad is being played by his older brother. This is
That's
Brian
the
Doyle.
eldest.
Brian Doyle Murray. Yeah, this is the older Murray.
The oldest Murray.
I think he's like 5 or 6 years older than Bill.
Damn, that's a bit older.
Yeah, that's the end of the past scene there in 1955.
But he did cry.
He did cry. He blames it on other stuff.
But
though.
he cried. He gets back in the cab and he's like, take
gets
me
back
back
in
to
the
my
cab.
office.
And so he says, all right, I'll take you back to your
Yeah.
office. And so he takes him. And it was in the IBC building.
I was just saying, I think it's the same building.
1968.
Good year.
So again, he's 18. This is like his
Yeah.
first intern job.
like his first
right?
job.
Because he's the mail room.
Yeah,
we
he's
see it. He's
going around
delivering
delivering mail and
during
shit.
this massive
Christmas
crazy 60s swinging fucking Christmas party.
Right? You hear stories about the chicks
secretary is
taking scans
Xeroxing
of her ass
Yeah,
and all this
yeah,
other
yeah.
shit.
Dude is definitely hitting on random chicks. We
Yeah.
heard about
Yeah,
Lou.
Lou's over hitting on the hot Asian.
He's definitely gonna and Xerox girl.
Yeah, and
he was
Xerox
hitting on
girl.
everybody.
He's hitting on anything that moved.
Xerox girl throws herself at Frank, who
and he's
didn't
just
know.
oblivious.
He didn't know. He sees it in retrospect. He even tells
Yeah.
the ghost, he's like, I'm an idiot. And the ghost has to
Yeah.
remind him. The ghost has to remind him, look, buddy, we're here for someone more
Not
important.
her.
We're here for someone more important
Yeah.
than Xerox.
Not that one. We going for a different one.
And we see what happens as he left the building because he was leaving because he was done with his
Yeah,
mail.
it's a hard cut. Immediately he goes. To
Well,
the,
he was done with his mail. He already told everybody in the
Yeah.
building, like, I'm not staying here. Told the lady, I can't get Chinese with you.
Yeah,
You
she
heard.
wants
You
Chinese.
heard, right? That's just cat.
Yeah, they've been taking alley cats and chopping the stuff. You don't want to eat that. No.
Again,
it's
guys, we
good.
don't want to feed into any kind of stereotype. We only mention that because it
I
comes
love Chinese food.
and it comes back again
Yeah,
immediately. That's
immediately.
the main reason we're mentioning
Within,
it.
like,
the
5
joke
minutes.
hits twice real quick. We have to mention it. We can't skip past it.
Right.
We finally cut to outside when he left the party because that wasn't his type of scene.
No.
Because this is before he's all about business and trying to butter his way up to the top. So he didn't care
He
about
just
saying.
loves TV.
Yeah. He was like, I'm going to go home. On his way home, he gets cracked in the face by a door. Door hits him. He smacks the backside of his head
on
against
the
the concrete. This is when he meets Claire.
Claire.
This is where we get Lumpy
Yep.
because he's lumpy
This should have happened
first. If we knew all of this, that scene would have made
When
so
she
much more
said
sense.
lumpy, we would have popped. We would have been like, oh, it's her.
Yeah. No.
No. Instead, we get lumpy. The hell?
And again, like, I get it. They did it the other way so that way we wouldn't need a different actor. Because again, we wouldn't need they couldn't have used Karen Allen to be 18-year-old Claire.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess.
They did it this way so that way we can be like, okay, that's fine. It would have worked better though, because again, that way when we heard a voice we didn't recognize, say Lumpy, we
would've
still would have
known.
been like,
It's Claire.
Right.
Whatever.
They
you need
messed-
to take some of the comedy romance.
Yeah,
rom-com.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. You need to take some rom-com notes for this
Yeah,
shit.
they definitely messed it up a little bit.
bit.
So we see though, this is how they met. That's it.
Yeah.
Real quick scene. That's all we get.
Yeah,
That's why
they
they came
bump
back
heads.
to. That's why they came back to 68. We see spinning dial again.
Yeah.
1969, Christmas Eve. I guess they're all supposed to be Christmas
Yeah,
Eve.
they're all Christmas Eve, I assume.
Because that's what it's supposed to, right? I mean, that's how it
That's how
worked,
it worked
in the Christmas Carol.
It was all
It's just a little bit more
past
ambiguous
Christmas
in
Eve.
their stuff.
Yeah, a
because
little bit.
Christmas parties don't always
Always
happen on Christmas Eve, right?
Why would they? Because you'd want to be, people have to travel. And
Well, as
go
we
to-
already said about
Yeah.
the karate thing and Jingle All the Way,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
You would
People
have
have shit they have to do. They
would
have
have-
lives and families.
Yeah, you'd have the Christmas party in the beginning of the month.
We'll get back to it. So, but again, we just keep seeing Christmas Eve. This is the Christmas Eve. This is the one I said that affected my Christmas Eves
this
growing
had
up.
real world implications here.
Yeah. So this is the one they've been together for about a year.
Yeah, she's sitting in the bathtub.
They are living together,
smoking a joint.
smoking a joint in the
'Cause
bathtub.
It's the '60s, you see.
And our ghost of Christmas past is trying to be a perv.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, yo, look somewhere else. Go look up. There's a gorilla
But we
climbing up
hear
the building."
Frank from the other room yell to Claire, "Can we go ahead and open these?"
Right?
And now what's funny is he was the one that wanted to, and she came in and said, "Yeah, we can." And then he was like, "Well, in my family, we only did that if it was something to spoil." I was like, "You were the one who instigated
Right.
this conversation."
He just wanted to drive home that yes, I was poor. Remember how poor I was? Remember that?
Like the veal. The veal would have
Dude,
spoiled. You
at
open
least
it
your
right
dad
away.
was a fucking butcher and you got meat.
But so she was
Try living
she
on
was,
spaghetti for a year.
So she told him though, she was like, when I was growing up, every Christmas Eve, we got to open one Christmas present. Now this is where you asked your question, did I get a pick? Because they don't pick for themselves. He
picks
picked the
for
one
her.
for her,
Yeah.
and she picks the one for him. So he hands her package, some Ginsu knives.
Right? I remember those commercials.
I love this because we get the jokes of like what past him was saying to her, and the jokes of what present him was saying to the ghost.
cabbie, yeah.
Fucking beautiful.
It was.
because like he's trying to be like yeah, it was impressive to the ghost, and the
He's
ghost
just
is
like,
like,
I
I
got
know
Ginsu-
it's Ginsu, I get it.
knives, I get
They can
it,
cut
yeah.
10 right before
Yeah,
he
you
says it to her. Beautiful.
Cut
I
through a
loved
tin
it.
can like a tomato.
Yeah, I love it. It was great.
I
But
never trusted a girl enough to give her 12 sharp knives. That's a great line.
It's a good
Because
line.
he knew when she opened it, it was
Yeah.
a stupid gift.
yeah,
to give.
yeah. Well, I think it was all for the joke.
Yeah.
Right? Like the joke was right? Like it had nothing to do
Yeah.
with the knives.
It was good.
But then she gives him her gift to him, which was the Kama Sutra,
Kama
which was
Sutra.
weird, with an actual Sanskrit inscription to him.
Did they ever say what the Sanskrit
No.
inscription
Nope,
said?
nope,
They're just
nope.
like, no, it's in Sanskrit.
Yep, doesn't matter.
It's
Doesn't
funny,
matter.
though.
He's. I didn't need a manual. Just for the record.
To the cabbie outside. He's like,
Just for
I
the-
didn't need a manual or
just for the
anything.
record.
But then it's even funnier because he's sitting there, he's flipping through. He's like, oh,
No,
I've
no,
done that.
I love this.
Done
He's
this
like,
one.
did that, done this. done
Buddy of mine
this.
did this one.
Buddy of mine did this one. I don't believe this.
Right, I
And
don't
what's it
believe
say?
this one.
It says there's a place you can touch a woman that will make her bark like a dog. And we get Karen Allen as Claire start barking
Yep.
immediately. So funny, so beautiful. Really says something about the relationship, right? Like
Yeah.
I love it. It's so good.
Super playful.
And it immediately cuts into our last place that we traveled to in the past because her barking transitions into
Frisbee the dog.
barking. Who, and again, at first we're like, why is this what we're
fuck?
seeing, right? Like,
Why is this stupid kid show?
Who is the connection?
Did you notice the host of the kid show? This guy I knew. He's the executive vice president of Recall Industries from Total Recall that comes back to tell Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, hey, this is all just a dream. Take this magic pill. And then he shoots him in the face. As soon as I saw him, I was like, wow, you rose far from your humble origins of Frisbee the dog.
Deep cut.
Super deep. It was awesome. Couldn't help it.
So, Frisbee the dog away. First, we just have no idea
What the fuck's
what
going
our
on?
connection to Frank is. Right? Then he pulls the mask off. Frank
He
is
is-
Frisbee? His boss. This is Lou pre-zombification golfing mode.
Right. This is where I said he looked good. He had,
yeah.
he had the nice
Lou is there with his assistant, and Lou,
yeah,
and is like invites Frank to Christmas.
Yeah, they're gonna go to Christmas dinner
on the yacht
and shit,
right?
And
that what they said?
Like limo, bring your girl, and all this other shit.
And so he's like, "Sweet,
yeah,
we're moving on up." And so Claire shows up, and he's like, "We're gonna do this." And Claire's like, "We've already made plans with our friends." And Frank's like, "Fuck that shit. This guy doesn't make plans like that. He said today. We're doing it today." He's a total dick about it.
He's a total dick here.
But this is the moment, though, he says, he makes the comment. He's like, I've put so much into making this show work.
Right.
And so that's the moment where I'm like, so maybe he's a producer and like being in the fucking suit was what he had to do at some point to make the show work.
That guy quit or something.
Right?
Yeah.
Like maybe it's one of those situations.
Yeah.
We just don't know that. Because it also would make more sense about why Lou would invite him to a dinner.
Yeah, because
if he was just an on-camera.
So hard.
Well, if he was just on-camera talent.
Yeah, he would fucking give a shit.
I personally never thought that Frank had intentions to be on-screen talent, though.
So it had to have been one of those just...
He ended up there by chance.
Ended up having to do it to keep the show going. Because he said something about, like, I've sacrificed a lot.
And so it's got to be.
Putting on that stupid dog suit. Yeah, that's a huge sacrifice.
It's got to be that, right? Claire, though, this is what's so outrageous about the moment. He was such an ass.
Yeah.
So rude to her about their already existing plans. She then tells him, we're done.
Yeah, we're going to go
We need to take a break. I need to go my way. You need to go your way. So, again, that means this is 1972.
Yeah.
They've been together for 3 years.
3 years by this point?
At the least 3 years.
He just waves at her.
It's like he didn't. Even the way he talked to her after she said it was like he didn't.
It didn't
register what was being said to him.
All right, bye. I'll see you if I see you.
Right? They've been together long enough that you know when you're fucking up. You know when you're fucking up bad. You know when you've crossed the line. You know beforehand, and you purposely made the decision to cross the line.
As soon as you say it, you're like,
none of that was going on.
Nope. He's just completely oblivious. Like, up, back to the show. Put my dog head on.
And so again, at this point, we see Frank. He's speaking like he is learning, right? Like we're hearing him say some stuff like, "God, I'm a fuck up.
Yeah,
I messed this up. What was I doing?" But as he is saying it, he starts to transition it back into how he's right now. She must be wrong. No one could actually be that good of a person. That's some bullshit. I don't believe it. As he is making this transition from like he's on his way, he's making this change into spiraling back into being dumb fuck Frank. We see the Ghost of Christmas Past up on the monitor, and he was like, "All right,
deuces.
I'm gonna leave you back in the past.
You know what you're doing."
And so he freaks out for a split second. Frank is like,
"What are you doing?
What?
Don't leave me.
You can't do that. You can't do that." And then we see
we're back on set.
He wakes up again. I love that. That's how they keep getting him. Yeah, right. They keep making him feel like he is having weird
hallucination
acid naps,
right?
Or some shit. Naps. Because they always make him wake up.
Right. He's always he kind of wakes up. He's on set. They're doing their scene and shit, and something the bitch says is like poignant to him and what he just went through. So he whips around. He's just like, "You know what, bitch? I did make the right decision. So you can shut your goddamn mouth," or something like that.
Well, and the actress though was in a scene with Buddy Hackett. So he starts screaming this at her, and it interrupts the scene with Buddy Hackett. Then he transitions into yelling at Buddy Hackett because Buddy Hackett was like, "What are you doing?
Are you crazy?"
And so he's like, blah, 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 blah. And everybody's like, "What are you doing to Buddy Hackett?" Like, like again, like he's our draw. You're trying to make our big name leave?
Like he's the lead. What are you doing?
Come on, Frank, you're the guy in charge.
But he's like off in his own fucking shit. I think he's screaming at Claire that isn't there.
Yeah,
right?
No, that's what it is.
And then he gets the little card.
No, because again, that's the moment he's having that. Again, he's continuing the conversation he had before, where he's like, "She can't be that good of a person. Nobody's that good of a person.
Nobody's that
I'm gonna go see her. I'm gonna go see her and prove it. I'm gonna prove she's a bad person."
Rants the entire way.
And so by the time he shows up in front of her non-profit organization,
which is funny because he
looks like a madman.
He's yelling about how he's like, "If you were a good person, you'd have a building that I could find." And he turns around, he's like, "Oh, well, there it is. Okay, that's good. Let's go."
He walks past Elliot in the trash.
Yeah, because he's been
drunk.
He's been
drunkard
selling his blood, drinking the whole time since he got fired.
in the 24 hours.
He's all kinds. He's basically homeless now.
Our homeless man Herman that we get to meet here in just a moment steals his pocket watch on his way into the scene where we meet him.
Yes.
Once Frank shows up inside the nonprofit homeless organization thing, he gets inside and he's just kind of still raving, right?
He's something about going on and like, if I want a wife, I'm gonna buy one.
And the volunteer sees him and she thinks he's a stark raving mad homeless man. Yeah. And so she gets him a blanket, puts him by the other people.
Right.
And she's like, you just stay here. I'll try to get you some food. I'll be right back. And he's like, okay. And he's kind of stark raving mad still. And we have Herman, our guy, come. Again, he just stole poor Elliot's Christmas watch.
And his buddies.
And his buddies. I don't know the other dude's name. They tell us, but I can't remember.
But Eva.
Ava. It's Ava. Did you see who she was or who was playing Ava?
No.
It's Ma Fratelli. Mama Fratelli.
From the Goonies.
From the Goonies.
Yes.
Again, that's our second Goonies. Richard Donner, God bless him.
Yes, it's so
That's
good.
the mom from the Goonies and Mama Fratelli from the Goonies. That's both of the Ma's.
Both of the Ma's.
From the Goonies. But yeah, I love her. She's also in Throw Mama from the Train.
Yes.
Keeping in the Mamas.
Mama.
But yeah, she is a great actress.
She's good.
I love her. She's great in the scene.
Right.
Every one of these homeless people are just batshit in their own right. This is what's beautiful about her, though, is that at this point, for some reason, Herman and Herman's friend that's with him, we'll just call him Tom, because we don't know.
Yeah.
Herman
and Tom.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. Herman and Tom have both decided for some fucking reason that Frank is Richard
Burton.
And I don't know why. And they keep calling him Dick. But the beautiful part is, so they're already calling him the wrong name.
Right.
Ava starts calling him Dave. She's got a different name than the name they're calling him.
They're trying to get him to like drink this hooch.
And so they keep calling him Dick, except for her.
And she's like, come on, do it for me, Dave. He kind of fake drinks it.
Yeah, no, he pours it straight. Like so she can't see it, but it is straight poured onto the ground. Yeah. He's like, yeah.
There you go.
But again, the two guys keep hitting the dick, and they start hitting it hard, right? They're like, Dick?
Can you give us a little Cleopatra or some, what was the other?
They think he's Richard
Burton.
And it's funny because finally he breaks. He breaks, right? He's like, why do you keep calling me Dick?
He does Mark Anthony.
Well, before he does it, he says to them, he's like, oh yeah, why do you keep calling me Dick?
I'm sorry, Mr. Burton. Do we not know you well enough to call you Dick? Because I thought after the one movie that we did together and stuff, like these guys think they were like,
yes, yeah.
But he does a really good.
Yes, no. His next thing, as soon as he finds out that's what they thought, he does an amazing Richard Burton imitation.
Cleopatra.
Yeah, it's great.
With Liz Tyler.
I can't do
it. But I foresee, therefore I forswear.
His head
here upon the tower.
Bill Murray's head swings.
It was great.
So crazy. But yeah, so he's there to see Claire in the middle of his imitation here.
Yes.
She hears him and looks over and is like, what is going on?
What the fuck are you doing?
And so she rushes over and he starts to have a conversation with her.
Yeah, he's like, the crazy thing happened again, and here I am, and fuck this, let's go away.
And she's on board.
Too late. Yeah, she's totally with it.
This is what I said before, right? It's amazing that he is as crazy as he is, both in like this moment, really crazy, and before as in just an asshole crazy. The dormouse. Yeah, he's just an asshole kind of crazy then. But he's just crazy. All around in a way you wouldn't deal with, right? Like both, but either asshole or just crazy.
I'm sorry, you were just doing Richard Burton impressions for homeless people. I'm gonna go.
But yeah, she's 100% still on board. Right. But then the volunteers show up and they're like, "We need you to do this and this," and he freaks out. And he's like, "You fucking do it.
You should fire these fucking people."
Again, they're volunteers.
Yeah, he's like, "I can't fire them. They're volunteers."
They don't have to be here.
There's a great line. He's like, "Yeah, they're volunteers because no one would pay them. They are like this every day of the year, I guarantee it."
Then he hits her with the advice.
Yeah,
scrape them off. You want to save somebody? Save yourself.
Yeah, fucking cynical as fuck,
God
dude.
Damn.
Jeez.
But that is a piece of advice, and again, she does have to actually do the job because she is the only person being paid
to do this shelter thing.
Yeah, everybody else is a volunteer. So
Yeah.
she 100% does have to go take care of the problem.
Yeah, she did something about turkeys.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. But again, as the only paid person, it is her job. So she's like, look, I got to go take care of this. Again, at this point, though, she is still on board with him. Even after this insult, after all this crazy shit.
Yelling at her staff.
She is still on board.
Yeah, she's just
he is the one that walks out on her.
Right?
How? How does that even make sense?
I'd have been like, fuck you,
And again,
man.
this is why I stopped you from us like going into this part of the conversation earlier, is because we needed that past reference to really make sense of this. Because at this point, we know she's walked out on him once.
Right, already.
So why would she even
keep carrying this little candle for him
at
here,
this moment, especially?
right?
Because at this moment, you can see he's not changed.
Yeah, even if
she
you did.
walked out on him because he was a little bit this way.
Right.
And now she
he's even
sees
worse.
Makes no sense.
None. Even if you did.
So like I said,
carry
we couldn't even
your
talk
your little torch for 15 years. At that point, it should have been.
Yeah, we
done.
couldn't even properly talk about this
No.
before without having that reference, because now that we know that she made the choice
to fuck off already.
But we're finished here.
All right, he's learning his damn lesson, I guess.
Yeah, before we completely walk away from the scene, though, in case you needed the last little bit to drive home for you that this was a Christmas carol, he hits her with a bah humbug.
I was waiting for it. I was like, there it is. And poor Herman on the outside, he's just like, hey, Dick, you got $2 so I can heat my house?
You can go in there.
He's just like,
I heard there's...
He was like, I blew it all on Liz. There's some real suckers in there.
Go ask them. Now we get to see a moment of what's going on set.
There's a scene.
I have a problem with this because we hear the scene, right? Buddy Hackett clearly misreads his lines. He says sea urchins.
He really does.
Right? And then Bryce, again, I hate Bryce. He's a dick. But Bryce calls cut and he calls him on it. He says, you said sea urchins.
You said
the
it's
line
street
is clearly
urchin.
street urchins. And then Bryce turns around
and asks the crew,
the whole set, everybody.
What did he say?
And they all are like, he said street urchins.
And he just
did not.
with it. No,
he did not. That
definitely
motherfucking man clearly said sea urchins.
It's a good thing it's just a fucking rehearsal.
Like, and I'm not even worried about fucking captioning. Captioning did tell me he said sea urchins too.
Yeah.
But regardless of that,
I heard him.
I can clear
Clear as day say sea urchins. Why do I have to be accosted by these bloody sea urchins?
And then he even follows it up with, "Why would I say sea urchins?"
He's like, why would I say that?
I wouldn't. That doesn't even make sense.
I bet you did, buddy.
Right?
You did. No,
I don't know if Bryce was just like, this is maybe
Kissing
like,
his ass.
yeah, right. This is his LA way to like non-confrontationally handle the situation.
Because they're not as abrasive out there. A New York executive
Right.
is just like, no, you did it goddamn wrong.
Now do it fucking
now
right.
Do it fucking right.
Yeah.
LA's like, oh, baby, you did. You know, it's all cool.
It's okay, but we're gonna try one
gonna
more
try
time.
it. How about you
maybe
try it?
Maybe it sounds better.
Maybe we're gonna do one more. Well, maybe this will be good.
Once this moment finishes, Bryce yells, "Everybody go to lunch."
Yeah.
That's when Frank officially rolls
shows
back
back
on.
up.
And this is such the passive aggressive bullshit from Bryce, right? Frank is like, "Look, me and you need to talk."
Yeah.
Right? And then Bryce goes, "Oh, you need everybody? You need everybody to
You
hear
wanna
this?
get
You
everybody
want to
back?
tell everybody they can go. You want to be the one to tell them they can go to lunch, right?"
Right?
Oh, I
here.
can handle that.
He flips the
Hey,
bull.
everybody. Frank has something he wants to say to you guys.
With the bullhorn.
And he turns it back around, and Frank even tells him again. He's like, "No.
We need to have a talk.
We need to have a
And he
talk,
still
buddy."
blows him off. He's like, yeah, I got to go talk to Preston about something. And
So
shit.
he
And
walks off. As soon as he walks off, all the lights on
start
set
going
shut
off.
off.
This is my
And
favorite
as soon,
part.
as soon as they shut off, this is when we get the best
best?
moment, the best ghost, the
Yes.
best everything,
Dude, no,
all around
screw
encompassing.
it. I'm calling it right now. This is the best Ghost of Christmas Present in any
Oh
iteration.
no, that's definitely true. But again, this
Any
is like the
iteration.
best scene in the movie. This is
Right.
the best moment.
Love
This
her
is
so
like
much.
this is great. This is great. So we see Carol Kane.
Yes.
Shows up out of the darkness,
Right.
with her like dancing sign.
Yeah, she's doing ballet.
So she's
dancing
clearly
around.
she's in a unitard with wings. She's clearly supposed to be a take on like a fairy godmother,
Yeah.
right? Like she is definitely a ballet fairy godmother.
Yeah.
Why that's what her take is, I don't know, but that is what it is.
She pulls it off.
I don't understand the take. That's what it is. But beyond that, she is a violent,
Yes,
fairy
she
godmother,
is.
right?
Fucking-
The only way her magic works in the scene is if she hits him,
Right.
punches him, kicks him, bites him. She
pulls
has
his-
to hurt him.
She has to hurt
She
him
has to hurt
somehow.
him to make her magic work.
Because every transition is precursed by a punch.
So when she first shows up, he's trying to figure out like what the fuck is going on. Because again, this is drastically different than Cabby guy.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I don't even understand what's happening. And so she's dancing around, punches him in the face, right? And they end up in first one is
Yeah, it's Calvin.
It's
They're
Calvin
over at
and Grace. They're at Grace's
place.
house. This is where we see full picture, right?
Yeah.
This is where we finally know she's a single mother.
Single
we know that
mom.
her husband has died. We know that that's when Calvin stopped speaking.
Stopped talking because he saw it.
He saw
watched
it.
his
He's
dad
not done
die.
anything since then.
But he's a really smart kid.
He's super smart because we see the puzzle.
The puzzle.
None of the rest of the kids can
Yeah,
figure it out.
he
Not
does.
only is he super smart, he's
seconds.
super smart and he doesn't care that they don't know.
Yeah.
Not
it
only
makes
like,
him
he did it
happy.
on his own
Yeah.
and didn't show
He
them.
takes pride in it.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck if anybody else knows. He's like, I
Super-
know I can do it.
He is smart.
Yes. It's
He's-
the best way to
he's
fucking
locked
be.
it away.
Don't worry about other people.
Yeah, he's locked it away, not that he has a problem. Right?
solved
That's what
that
we're
puzzle
learning.
in, like, 2 seconds.
That's what we're supposed to learn here, right? Like
Yeah.
we're learning that it's not that he's not speaking because there's an issue.
Yeah, he's just locking it all in his head.
He has
Storing
made the
information.
choice.
Yeah. It's
to
like,
not
I'm just
speak.
not going to talk.
And I mean, we don't need to spend any more time here. That's the focus.
nice, happy
The beautiful
family.
part of the Ghost of Christmas Present is that we don't need, like, most of the scenes, they might play out kind of long, but they're really just to show us like one thing. And
Yeah,
we can
this
kind of
is
cover
what
those
these
really quick.
people are doing on
As
Christmas.
much as we love her,
Yeah.
we don't need to spend a lot of time. The beauty is just that, again, when you watch it's just watching her interaction.
Right.
We could spend hours
she's
trying to
got
tell
this-
you how fun it is to see it, but we won't do that.
Yeah,
We'll
she's
just
got
let
the
you know it's super
manic
fun.
Pixie energy.
Yes.
It's great.
This time, right? Isn't this when she paints the
She paints an X on him and slaps him, and then we're on to his brother's house.
his brother's apartment, which is again, it's an apartment, but in the way that in New York you would own an apartment,
Yeah,
right?
and
Like
he's,
it's not like a
fixing it up and
rentable
shit.
apartment. Like he owns the entire like floor that
Floor
he's
and
in.
shit,
Yeah.
yeah.
You see, it is in grotesque state.
Yeah.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite scene in the whole movie. Like even like saying that,
'Cause we
like
did
her
shit.
in general
Yeah.
was my favorite. But this is our family.
Yes,
this is what we do.
This is what we do.
We play Trivial
fucking
Pursuit.
board
We play
games and
board
Trivial
games.
Pursuit.
We do stuff like this. So it's Christmas Eve.
I still hate Skip Bo. I mean, you all let me believe till I was 5 years old that was a rule. Bo gets skipped. Moving past it.
I love this scene. Again, this is two
Yeah.
more Murray brothers.
Yes, the other.
So like we said,
the
James,
other Murrays.
James, as we mentioned earlier, is one of them. And then also this other male, not the crazy long-haired Jerry curl guy.
Jerry curl
You know the one I'm
guy?
talking
Yeah, I
about?
know you're talking
Not
about.
him, obviously.
Yeah,
but the other one that kind of looks like
looks
a Murray.
James.
Yeah, that guy is another Murray.
Murray.
He is Bill Murray's.
I meant to say
other.
another Murray.
It's okay.
Murray,
He is definitely Bill Murray's other little brother, I think. It's great. They're having the scene. They're playing Trivial Pursuit. I want to point out, James got nothing but easy questions, and he misses all of them.
All of them. He's stupid as fuck. How do you miss whose boat was
Well,
the
no,
Gilligan
we're not even
Islands
getting there.
and
The
shit?
first one is what instrument does...
Lurch play. It's
Yeah.
a fucking harpsichord. How do you miss that, James?
But so they're playing, they're having fun, but in the middle, between questions,
They open presents.
they decide to take a present break.
Yeah.
And they're talking about James's brother, and he's like, "Yeah, I got him. It's sappy. I gave him this cute little picture frame.
I made it with my own little
Blah,
hands.
blah, blah." And so then while he's talking about that, that's when his girlfriend brings over Wendy. His girlfriend
Wendy.
I only point out her name because later on, for some odd fucking reason, Frank makes a point on TV to say her
to
name,
point her out.
as if he didn't know it or something,
Yeah.
right? Like he's like Wendy,
Yeah.
and she's touched by it
Yeah,
too.
she's like, oh. I'm
It's
like,
so strange. I don't know if there's a deleted scene somewhere that explains
Explains that?
why that is there.
There might
because
be.
it doesn't make sense
really
in what
doesn't.
we've seen.
Apologizing.
But so because
being a
they make
dick?
it a big
I don't
point
know.
later, I'm gonna make it a big point right now to let everyone know her name is fucking Wendy.
Yes.
Wendy brings over the present from Frank since he was talking about what he had given his brother.
Yeah.
And we can assume that's supposed to be their cousin because he did tell us that this was a family dinner.
Yeah. The
And we
family
know that they
dinner.
don't have another brother, so that means that this guy that looks like them must be a cousin or
Cousin
something,
or
right?
something, yeah.
Something like that. That guy's already kind of mocking Frank. Like, what did Frank get you?
Yeah, what did he get you last year? A shower curtain or
Right,
something?
yeah,
And
yeah.
Frank's over. He's like, it was a nice shower curtain.
James, yeah, no, he's like,
Yeah.
it's a nice shower curtain.
Had the
Thank
IBC
you.
logo on it. It was great. It was,
I love
it was
that
nice. It was
thing.
great. He loves his brother for
No, and that's what he even
some
says.
reason.
He's my brother. I don't care.
Right. Because they're like, why do you keep inviting him even though he doesn't show up?
Because he's my
He's
brother.
my brother. Man, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I get it. You're that guy from the Christmas Carol.
Yeah. But so he opens up this present, which we all know is supposed to be a fucking towel.
That's what he said.
He told Grace towel.
Towel, even. He said it real harsh.
What does he open?
It's a fucking nice-ass VCR.
Philips VCR, top of the line.
And recorder. It records, too. It doesn't just play the VHS
That's
tapes.
right.
You can record stuff off TV.
We see the nice
Very
little
important.
moment where Frank flips the fuck out and he was like, I didn't get you that. My ex-secretary.
Right.
I love the way he said it. The way
My
X turned,
secretary.
yes, the X turned into the S.
It's
I
great.
loved it, dude.
Right.
I love it. Like, that is one of those things that's imprinted in my head forever.
Yeah.
The way he says that.
Secretary.
Grace got it for you.
Right.
I love this because we already had the moment where she made him negotiate that she's supposed to get a raise.
Right.
I think it's crazy that she didn't immediately punch him.
Right, just
when he
hit
said
him
ex-secretary. But she didn't. She
No.
lets the rest of the scene play out. This is where we hear the next question is what's the name of the boat that took the crew of the Gilligan's Island on their 3-hour tour? And they can't figure it out.
The SS Mackerel?
Wendy and James
Jamaica.
are the dumbest people ever.
They've never watched TV.
And so literally while this is going on though, Frank is like, stop. I want to stay. I want to stay.
I know
I want to
this.
see this. I know this. And again, I want to point out the ghost hits us with the truest of all facts.
Right?
Everyone fucking
She
knows
does.
this.
She's like, everyone knows
I
this.
was 8 years fucking old and I fucking knew this. She is right.
Yes.
Everyone knows this. We're going to
SS
say it now.
Minnow.
It is the SS Minnow. It will be said later. Don't worry. The movie is the same way because
Yeah.
they agree. Everyone
that
fucking
goddamn
knows
easy.
this. But so she takes him out though. She was like, no, we're done here.
She hits
This
him
is when
with
she hits him with the fucking toaster,
toaster,
dude. Bust him in the mouth.
Fucking cracks him in the face with it, and then we flash.
Now
he's in like the sewer.
We get sad.
Yeah, I hate.
This is the one scene that
I
there
hate this
is no direct connection to the actual Christmas Carol in this scene.
No,
right?
this is just to hurt you.
We get dead
Herman. No,
No
not-
reason. There's no character that equates to Herman in A Christmas Carol. We just get to see that for some reason
sweet old homeless guy who just
For some
loved
reason-
Richard Burton.
there's somebody that Frank can't save.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, this wasn't the Ghost of Christmas Past
No.
showing us this.
This is
the
right
Ghost
now.
of Christmas Present sent
This
him here.
happened. It's
This-
already happened.
It's
We can't-
done.
I'm so upset. It's so,
So
sad
Frank freaks out a little bit
because Herb is dead.
and he doesn't know if he can get out. He panics. Then he sees the door, clearly a door,
Yeah.
clearly.
Says something about it's the only one that doesn't smell like piss, so it
So he
has to
knows
be
it's the
only
right way out. Then he busts through, but he doesn't bust through onto the street
No, he busts through onto Scrooge set.
with little people filming. Again, I don't understand what they were doing because they.
He tries to hide behind one of
Well,
them.
but I mean, like, what were they filming?
I don't know. I don't remember there being little people in.
That's my
A
point.
Christmas
What were they
Carol.
filming? Were they doing some weird forced perspective shots?
Ooh, that's actually a good idea.
That was my thought.
That is a good
That's what
idea,
was in my
'cause-
notes. Because why else would you need these people?
If you pay attention when he pops out, the rest of the set
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like
no,
it's
I-
only like 8 feet fucking tall, but
You
it's
think?
supposed to be a whole building. That's a good idea. I don't even remember where we were now.
He was on the set.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's on the set. Bryce sees him. Bryce
He's
is like, what the hell is
dude,
going
we've
on?
been looking for you.
Dude, we're worried about you.
Right,
And so,
just-
but he says worried, but basically Bryce is like, we're going to lock you away in your fucking place
Office, and
so that
I'm
way
gonna-
you can not bother me as
While I
I
take your spot.
usurp all of your kingdom.
Right. I am so happy that you are having a nervous breakdown. It works so great for me. But can you kindly just hide in your office until you get fired? So they
And-
go to the elevator.
And before he gets on as the elevator
love this.
opens, we see this freaky looking skeleton face. What is
Grim
supposed to be the
Reaper.
ghost of the ghost of Christmas
Christmas
future.
future.
But it's the ghost for the play.
The
for
play.
for the
But
production.
Frank don't know that. No, get out of here. These come for me. I know what you want. You come and get it, you pussy.
And so then that guy is freaking out. And Bryce comes up like
what the fuck?
freaking
Quit
out.
scaring Frank. Get out of here. The way he
Frank is like, someone give him a raise.
right.
He's doing a great job.
He's going to be a big star.
Yeah, I love it. Frank goes up to his office. Well, he really didn't even make it to his office. He just goes to the floor that his office is on
and just starts power drinking that fucking vodka, buddy.
And then all of a sudden, once he's up there, what happens? Who shows up again?
Elliot shows up.
With a shotgun.
Fucking Bobcat. He shows up and he's very upset. He's had a very bad day. Well, he's going to shoot you with his shotgun, so you better run.
And so he does.
He does. He even asks for a head start. He's like, can I get a head start? He's like, sure.
And Frank's trying to yell, like, trust me, man, I've had a
way worse day than you.
And I might agree with Frank in this situation.
Herm died. I mean, that's
he's dealt with a lot of crazy shit going on. I understand Elliot lost his job.
And his wife left him.
I get it.
Lots
of bad stuff. I'm not trying to downplay that.
But Frank died.
And Frank is dealing with like existential crisis.
I'm going through time.
Is life real?
I have ghosts showing up. I don't know if I'm in the Matrix or not.
It's a lot. But so finally, though, Frank makes it. He does evade all the gunshots. And then here's a surprising moment. The ghost of Christmas Future saves Frank's life.
Pulls him into the elevator at like the last second, right?
It's only weird because we all know that the Ghost of Christmas Future's job in every iteration of any kind of Christmas carol is to scare the living bejesus out of you. So saving your life seems like not the right thing to do.
Well, if you're dead, he can't scare you.
I guess.
It's my only logic for it.
But you know what I mean? Like, it does kind of go against what you think of, like, that ghost in particular.
That was awful damn nice of you, Grim Reaper.
But so then this ghost, this is real quick. We're not going to spend much time with these.
It is literally
because
scenes,
the scenes are quick, too. They don't happen they don't take up very long. We don't need very long to describe them.
We're in the elevator. We go down. We open. We're in an insane asylum.
First, before we even open, before we do that.
I almost skipped it.
He thinks it's the fake one again.
Yeah,
and so he rips open the chest and we see actual demons in the rib cage.
It's so funny. He's just like, did our people do that? We're going to get calls.
Yeah, that's not good.
We're going to get phone calls.
Then he starts to he looks up the face and it's the TV. We talked about this earlier.
Really
We
cool.
need to come back.
I liked it.
You see it shift between like skeleton face, Bill Murray's face, acid ripped off Bill Murray's face, flame fires.
Yeah.
It's such a crazy
And then it cuts to the door opening on the screen, and then we walk through. It's a real cool cut. I liked that.
But so now we'll get to the scenes. They're all real fast.
Yeah.
First one is definitely this is the weirdest future, right? This is so dystopian future.
Right?
What the fuck outfit was she wearing?
I don't know.
So this one,
Cruella de Vil.
It's in a insane asylum. It's Calvin now,
right?
Like 16, right?
Yeah,
I would say
he's older.
So like a decade, maybe.
And he's in a padded room, and she's
wearing the scientist looking.
I don't know.
The scientist looking very also like cold future dystopian,
right?
But Grace is wearing. Not even like a dashiki. I don't know what it is, but it is like rags. Like she is definitely so poor that she can't afford clothing anymore.
And he's just
this future is so strange.
Yeah, Calvin still hasn't talked. He's just in the corner and stuff.
Yep.
And Frank, to his credit, he's like I know the head of
No,
pediatrics.
he's immediately he's like, we can do something. We can fix this kid.
Fix this right now.
Let me go back. You take me back, and I
it.
got this one.
Right? Don't even worry about it.
Next one we go to,
Bitch Claire, old
with
woman.
The
Bitch
worst
Claire.
Age makeup I've ever seen in my life.
They tried.
It is penciled.
It is.
It is penciled, lined on.
On VHS, I bet it looks great.
No, it looks fine. As a kid, I bought it.
But now it's
as
just
an
like,
adult watching like an HD copy
it's like theater
of this.
Makeup. You're not supposed to see it up close.
It was bad, dude.
It really was.
But so this scene is just there to show us that this Claire exists in a world where she never speaks to Frank again after the last time.
But she took his advice.
So she took the advice that he gave him.
Yeah, scrape him off. Save yourself. Fuck everybody else.
Yeah, you want to save somebody? Save yourself. She says that.
Yeah.
She says that's what she lives by.
Because there's the little kids.
Thanks, Lumpy.
There's little kids begging for money.
Right?
And she's like, get them away.
Thanks, Lumpy.
Yeah.
Or she might even say Frank that time, right? Because again, we're trying to make the distinction.
I can't remember. She has
because she's cold at that point, right? So we wouldn't use Lumpy. That's affectionate.
Right.
She's cold.
Even Frank's upset. He's just like, that was a lousy thing to do. Like, no, I mean, he didn't do it. You did it. That's the whole point of this.
And so then we're done with her, though. That one's finished. Last one we come to Frank's funeral.
Yeah. He thinks it's James at first.
It's his cremation at the same time.
Okay, this one I remember when I was a kid.
So this is the third one. That's what I was going to say. We're going to come back to the other thing that scared the living piss out of me about this
Fucking
movie as a
scared
kid.
the shit out of me when I was a kid.
The transition from him like freaking out
Trying to
outside the
stop.
coffin to being inside the
it on
coffin.
fire. Oh my god, dude.
I
Nightmare.
swear
So
for a
many.
small time in my childhood because of this movie I was claustrophobic, and it was because of that scene in the fire and the coffin. That's the last one though. He
super freaks out.
super freaks out, rightfully so.
Wakes up, comes
it-
out of the elevator.
Back-
I'm alive.
straight back into Elliot's arms
Right.
essentially, and Elliot's like, not for long.
What? Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you anyway. And he's like, no, you're not, because I'm a different guy.
Because at this moment, like, even more so than in any other version of A Christmas Carol you've ever seen in your life, like any kind of crazy, hyper manic mode Ebenezer Scrooge you've
Michael
ever
Caine
seen.
in the Muppets didn't
This-
even do this.
This Bill Murray as Frank in this scene is so well, not even the scene. From this point
Point
to
on.
the end of
Yeah,
the
to the
movie,
end of the movie.
the manic fucking
Fucking just-
phase that he is in
Just
is
ultimate euphoria of like,
He is
I get it now.
He's a literal different person
Yeah, he
than
is.
he's been the entire rest of the movie.
Elliot's like, he's like, I'm a bit confused. I came here looking for Frank Cross.
And you are not.
And he's just like, that's me, but it's not me. I went through a whole thing, man. But like, here's the deal. I'm gonna give you your job back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you double
You-
pay.
this office?
This office? You like my office? You're gonna have my office. I don't like your office. And he's like, that's what I like about you.
Yeah.
You speak your mind.
It's very crazy.
Yeah, it
and he
is.
stays this way again the whole rest of
way.
the movie. So at this point though, he tells Elliot, he's like, look, you're gonna help me. You're gonna go down to the control room.
Yep. Here's
You're
your
gonna
shotgun.
keep everybody down
He
there.
throws
Take
his
your shotgun
back to him.
Frank then heads to set. When Frank gets to set, he's like, again, as soon as he gets there, people in the control room are like, oh, hell no, we're
no,
going to
and
stop
stuff, and
this.
then-
Right then, Elliot shows in.
You're gonna just keep the camera on him.
They
Here's
tie,
here's
he
my
ties
shotgun.
up, ties up Bryce, keeps him like tied up. So that way the censor lady who's been getting beat up can start sexually assaulting him.
For real, like once they do the mistletoe thing. 'cause
Well, it
he's
kind
got-
of starts now. She
he's-
starts eyeballing him right
he's
now.
got mistletoe right next to his
I know.
head.
It's rough. It's taken care of so that way Frank
The
can go
camera
out.
stays
Yeah,
on.
Frank can go out and do what he needs to do. And he starts making this speech about how he knows he was a horrible person. The cameraman's like, yeah, you're the one that was
Yeah,
going to
you
make
were.
it. You're the reason we're working right now.
He's like, yeah, and you know what? A week ago, I would have kicked the shit out of you for saying that and
But
fired
now
your ass.
I'm a
but
different
now I'm a
person.
different guy.
He keeps going on his speech. He's talking
It's a
to
long
everybody.
speech.
It is. Again, we don't need to go through all the.
No.
We'll hit the highlights. The highlights being he stops and talks to his brother.
Yeah.
Specifically, pulls out the picture. He says, "My brother made me this." He's giving it's touching. He's like, "I love you.
I'm
I
kind of a
messed
dick.
up.
I'm sorry.
I fucked up." And he's like, "And you're right about everything except for one fucking thing.
Which
The
the
SS
SS
Minnow.
Minnow.
You fucking moron."
How did you
Everyone
miss
knows
that?
that during this moment. That's when he gives the hi, Wendy. Again, we don't know why. I
Why?
think it was a cutout.
She looked touched. Whatever.
Right? Very touched.
She did. She's like, oh.
There's 100% something that happened we didn't see.
Right. He was a dick to her earlier.
Right.
A phone call that didn't
Something.
happen. And
During all of this, we see what's his name? The exec guy, right? He
Mr. Rhinelander,
Yeah.
he is flipping his shit. But we do get the payoff for the cats.
Yes,
thing.
no, I was right to say, yeah, yeah.
Because right before Frank starts his tirade, there's the scene with the dormice and the cats are all pawing at the fucking thing.
Yeah,
and he's
he's-
like, I told you.
He's freaking out. His wife tells him though.
No, it's cool. Like,
No,
wait,
let him speak.
I like-
He's
I
going
like
somewhere.
this.
He's going somewhere.
Yeah.
Let him cook.
Yeah.
Let him cook. And so he does. He keeps going. He's literally, at this point, he's just like pouring from the heart, touching like real speech about like Christmas and what it means
and-
how you should, and not even Christmas anymore, just about how you should change your soul, right? He starts
you
getting
should
like,
want to do nice things because you'll get greedy for it,
yeah.
and then you'll
well, again, in the
have
real
that
world,
need.
in the real world, we could have all made money by getting this guy sent to the loony bin.
Yeah.
Because he is going off on that kind of tangent.
Yeah, he
he
is.
sounds insane. That being said, he's definitely speaking truth. But he just sounds insane the way he's
Truth
going
sounds
about it.
crazy sometimes.
I guess so.
man.
But he is just telling people like you got to make the change. You can't be that guy. You got to be good. You got to be the good you put in the world.
Don't be like me. I think a lot of it was improvised.
Oh, I definitely knowing Bill Murray, definitely.
Yeah.
But during all of this though, he does start to make a call out
To
Claire
Claire,
to
yeah.
come see him. And we see Claire hear it. All the people that she works with in the homeless shelter are cheering for her to go.
He even says something about like the.
He brings up the Kama Sutra again.
He's like, we can
Everybody's
try this
like,
one and
"Ooh,
stuff. That
you
one
know the
black
one."
lady. She's
You know,
just
he's
like,
like,
ooh, damn.
He goes, you know the one. You know,
You want
it's
to
like
do this?
and we do a little bit of this.
And a little-
And you know, before when we tried it, we both kind of had a problem. But
Right.
I think the way I am right now tonight, I think we can do this and avoid any kind of personal injury.
Any physical or psychological injury.
I loved it. It's so
was
good.
great.
And then so she's like, okay, I'm gonna go. As soon as
go.
she walks out the door, goes to Christmas Past.
Right, shows up in his cab.
He's
She's
like, I can get you there quick.
Can
Well,
you,
yeah.
Can
What
you get me
floor?
there in 3 minutes? And she's
What
like,
floor?
what floor?
Yeah.
With his cigar.
I loved it. So great. Again, guys, you can already tell what's happening here.
Right,
we're
we're getting
building
to
up.
the
It's
end.
basically done.
Right.
She shows up. He continues his speech. He's going on about how it's great and everything's good and
Love each other and all
this
that shit.
moment's great. He's again, you can tell he's just trying to. He's for a lack of words on how to wrap up the entire thing he's been going and building up to.
Right.
And then out of nowhere, Calvin walks up.
He's like, what, did I miss something, big man? And he finally.
You make tear. I'm not crying. You're crying, man.
Right,
Because
one
this
of
was
those.
fucking sad moments. Calvin goes, God bless us,
everyone.
everyone. And you see Grace, and you see Mama, the grandma, and the siblings, and
spoke.
and even at this point, Frank, because he
Yeah, he
knows,
knows.
he's like, oh my, he picks him up.
Yeah, he does.
Tiny Tim moment
Tiny
is up
Tim.
on like his sholdr.
Ah.
It's so.
This is the best.
And then we get put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. To wrap it all up.
And Bill Murray being like, all the people,
No.
all the men, all the women, the guy who's been talking through the whole movie. I see you over there.
That's how it, like, that's even after right after we start the song starts because Grace comes up, right?
Yeah,
And
she starts
it's
singing it.
literal, it's an actual, like, it's not because in a moment it becomes like a fake, like, meta
Yeah,
type
'cause
moment,
he's
right?
fourth wall breaking.
Yeah. But in the beginning, it's
not.
Well, dude, no, even the fourth wall break, though, isn't a fourth wall break. We'll get there in just a second. That's why I think it's beautiful. But in the beginning, though, she just starts singing, and then he looks up, and you see this weird look on his face where he's just like, what the fuck am I looking at? Sees the ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
He sees Lou's ghost. He sees the ghost of Christmas
past,
yeah.
future, present, and
Herman.
Herman.
And then all the crowd's cheering, and he's looking, and again, we're just seeing like everybody that we've touched through the movie is coming back and having their dance moment. But here's the part. I know what you were saying is the fourth wall break. It wasn't, though. Think about it, right? What were we supposed to be seeing right now? He was on live TV.
It's a live audience. Oh my God. I didn't even think of that.
He was not fucking fourth wall breaking, dude. That's supposed to be Frank talking to the
live
goddamn audience, man.
I didn't.
Or
even
not
think of
even
that.
even if not being the audience, it's him being joking with the people at
watching,
home.
yeah.
But at no point was it supposed to be Bill Murray talking to us. But the beauty here is that when you're in the theater, if you would have seen it in the theater, you wouldn't have thought about that. You would have thought it. And so I was like, man, could you imagine how fun it would have been to be a person in the theater?
Right.
And like when he said only the men and men started singing and he's
it.
like, only the women. No, the real women. And they start, you know what I mean? Like how fun would that have been?
Now just the guy who was talking through the whole movie.
You know
I
who
see
you are.
I see you over there.
But again, though, it's a beautiful moment because it wasn't fourth wall breaking, but they wanted it to make you think it was.
I didn't even think of that.
It's genius,
now
right?
my mind is blown,
It's
dude. I'm over
genius,
here. I'm
dude.
like, dude, that is so much better than I thought it was.
All right, that's it, though. That was the movie. We're at the end.
I loved this.
I love Scrooged.
This
It's
is
a great
great.
movie. It is literally one of those movies I watch. I have watched every Christmas since I was 7. So at this point, we're talking more than 30
I regret
years.
that I haven't watched it in like 10 years or so. I have to watch it more often
This is
now.
more than 30 years of Christmases that I've watched this movie.
Yeah, I got to catch up then.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. What did you think about the beer, man?
Dude, this is better than the other Great Lakes that we had. Like
The regular Christmas
the
ale?
regular Christmas ale, the bourbon barrel. Get it. It's a little more expensive, but it's fucking worth it. Like
Yeah, so again, we already said that the regular one was subtle.
subtle, yeah.
This was phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Like, the cinnamon is almost not there, right?
Non-existent.
But the vanilla-y caramel that
from
comes
the
from
barrel
is delicious. And so, even if the cinnamon is there, it's just like accentuating
Yeah.
that flavor
It's
more
just
so than
accenting the vanilla and caramel.
It's great.
So good.
This is maybe one of the best beers. Yeah, like I don't know if I want to go out on that limb yet, but it's definitely pretty far.
This is the best one we've had so far. I'm going to throw that out. My cup is empty. I destroyed it.
It's great. I'm not complaining. I'm not arguing.
This was a good episode. I've been having fun. What about next time? What are we drinking next time?
Yeah, that's on you.
Usually you ask me that.
I do. You jumped the gun.
I fucked it up, but we are drinking Beta.
With an exclamation point.
With an exclamation point. Very important. A Beta Brewing Company's Christmas Ale. I'm excited. None of these have been bad so far.
We came in with expectations to maybe be let down.
Yeah, I was expecting all these Christmas ales to be fruitcake in a can. None of them have been so far.
I've been pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, so I'm excited for the next one.
I can't wait.
Me either.
Again, guys, that's going to be our last Christmas movie. No hints, no clues, nothing going on here. Just one of my favorites. I will actually give you guys a little bit. This is not a hint or a clue that will help you in any way. I don't think. It is newer. It is far, far newer than any of the other Christmas movies we've done. We're going to end it on the newest.
Newest.
This is not something that I would call a classic. It's not old enough to be in that kind of category. This is
if I was a betting man,
in the realm of Christmas movies, this is brand new.
If I was a betting man, I'd bet you haven't seen it.
I think we're done, man.
Why do you have demons sticking out from under your goddamn shirt?
And they keep calling him Dick.